Horde versus the Alliance. Go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the epic WoW battles of history, the Retro Raid Race Part 1. I am Koltrane.
And I'm Anafielle, and we're here to welcome you to a great stream. Thanks everyone for coming out to watch tonight. I am so excited. I'm sure we'll have a great audience here. And I hope that you guys are as excited as I am to see who wins.
Absolutely. We're here to watch two epic raid teams battle through some of the greatest raid instances ever made in World of Warcraft history. We are going all the way back to the beginning to see an epic battle of Alliance versus Horde.
Leading both teams, we have two great raiders who are both US Top 40 and both people that y'all should be very familiar with if you are fans of FinalBossTV or Brutall, which we all are. They will be guiding their teams through these classic raid instances.
So kind of you.
Yes. So for the Alliance side, representing the Alliance, we have Bay. We are going to grab the sword and fight the Horde with Bay. And for the Horde, we have Brutall, grab an appliance and fight the Alliance.
Well, we encourage all of you guys to go to multitwitch.tv/brutalstatic/FinalBossTV. I'll link it in chat so that you can just click it. This will let you watch both of the raids at the same time and participate in both of the chats. It's a great way to keep track of both factions and see where everyone's at. Koltrane and I will be fielding questions here, so we encourage you to participate. You can put them in chat. I wouldn't tweet them to us. We'll definitely be watching chat closely, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Excellent. Now, there is a point system. It's basically spent about time in the raid zones, not overall time. So what we're going to be keeping track of is the amount of time it takes once they zone in, and at times the time that it takes to kill each boss. So travel time is in no way a factor. In fact, when one champion arrives, and he shall actually wait for the other one so they can both start at the exact same time.
Okay,
These are classy guys. They'll wait for each other.
We do have all 25 people in now, it looks like.
All right, Brutall is saying they have all 25 in. Now, keep in mind, Bay and Brutall cannot use voice comms during the raid. This is like old school, right? They can't be saying to their guys.
This is hard mode.
There is some serious hard mode. They can't be like, all right, guys, go left, go right. They have to type every single thing out. They can talk to the raids, but of course in the stream there will be a delay, so it's going to be their choice whether to speak or type, whichever is going to be faster for them.
And speaking of hard modes, one of the other rules with regard to this race is that they have to do all of the hard modes in all of these zones. No easy mode for these guys.
Yes, so we're going to be seeing some of these extra bosses like Sinestra. So you'll be able to see a lot of these heroic level bosses. The leaderboard also will be tallied and posted at the end of each night. Then the winner will be assigned at the end of all 3 nights. So this first night that we have here is known as the Painted Black. Anna, what are they going to be hitting up today? What raids are they going to be doing tonight?
They're going to be doing a whole lot of raids that many of us are familiar with, no matter when you started playing WoW, whether you started back at the very beginning or whether you started a little bit more recently. The first raid that we'll be seeing tonight is going to be Blackwing Lair. And this is a very old school raid zone that most people who started WoW way back in the day are quite familiar with. And I know that people in chat were making fun of them earlier because they were saying that they were outside of Blackwing Descent, not Blackwing Lair, a mistake that has been made by many people before.
Absolutely. Blackwing Lair here actually has 8 bosses. We've got Razorgore the Untamed, Valistraz the Corrupt, the Brood Lord Lash Lair, Fire Maw, Ebon Rock, Flame Gore, Chromagus, and of course ending with Nefarian.
Jeez. So many bosses. Hey guys, can I just interject real quick? I've been ready for minutes now. I'm not sure what's going on with Bay over there. Clearly the Horde is pretty darn superior at forming raids and getting people into this raid. So if this is any indicators to what this is going to be like, we might as well just call it a day because I've already won.
There it is.
Says the guy whose raiders were PvPing with Bay's raiders before the zone.
That's right. There was some definite some anger
there was
there.
A little bit of underhanded behavior there from the Horde. Very non-surprising.
I do not condone that, for the record.
So he says. So he says.
Looks like
so
Bay is.
The hardest thing about Blackwing Lair is actually getting there in the first place. I know I've been lost getting to that zone so many times.
We're having a CRZ issue. Some people are like not being able to zone in. It's weird.
Uh-oh.
Also, that could be an attunement thing. Is there an attunement thing?
Yeah.
I don't think there's an attunement to get in. No, there is. This is the one that there is. I wasn't sure if they had taken it out or not.
It's time to break out those closets and see if we can get some summons. So the Horde seems to be doing all right so far. First off, I think Horde seems to be superior before the even first pull.
It may not be worth any points, but they definitely get a gold star for preparation there.
Yeah, we're sitting over here, no big deal.
Yeah,
So-
I like what Nobble says. Horde tactic, rush in and die. Bay is being smart and using all the time he can.
Exactly. So after they hit up this vanilla raid, this would be Blackwing Lair. Like we said, this is the retro raid race. So after Blackwing Lair, that represents classic WoW. Not vanilla, but classic WoW. After that, they're going to be heading into the Burning Crusade. And Anna, what are they going to be hitting up with the TBC stuff?
Everybody's favorite raid, Black Temple. You know, when I told people that we were doing Black Temple, I got a whole lot of roll eyes, but I really like this zone. I know that it wasn't a huge favorite of the people who had to do it at the time, but there's some great gear in there that you should go back and get if you don't have all the transmog gear out of that zone. Definitely a lot of trash, definitely a great atmosphere, you know, it'll be a fun time.
Truly like an epic raid instance, and there are a ton of bosses in Black Temple, like an insane amount of bosses.
Yeah, definitely a ton. That was definitely how people remember it back in the day, that it was just a very long instance.
Yeah, a lot of raid teams were broken up, I think, during this, because I believe actually Black Temple has 14 bosses in one raid instance. And of course, ending with Illidan the Betrayer, great fight, classic.
Say 14?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that there are 9.
There are 9 bosses in the Black Temple. The show notes are
14
incorrect.
bosses is a raid instance that we will be doing later tonight. But
That is right. So like I said earlier, there are 9
Alrighty.
bosses in Black Temple.
You good to go, Ryan?
Oh, I remember. I've been ready. Remember that, sir?
All right, well, I'm going to pull in 5 seconds.
Here we go.
here we go.
We have the countdown. This is Bay versus Brutall, Horde versus Alliance.
Here we go,
I love
baby.
it. Now, we haven't
Here we
seen
go.
a lot of cheering in chat. You guys in chat need to be talking about who you are cheering for.
That's right. Who's here for
I
the
know
Horde?
Rasmus says, I want allies to win, but I want Brutall to not lose. That's cute. I love
Oh,
that.
that's nice.
Aw.
Uh-oh.
A lot of Brutall love in the chat room.
We just
What?
Oh, did you just kill Razor Gore? So much for being prepared!
Wow. And he is down.
How long
he
have you
is
guys been
down.
planning this? Oh,
Wow.
Listen, we've had minutes to plan this.
We have our first
Oh,
wipe,
goodness.
and the
No.
wipe
Oh,
goes
jeez.
to the Horde.
Oh,
First
jeez.
wipe. Oh my goodness.
Holy cow. Now,
Nobble totally called it. Horde would just run in.
unbelievable. So also, we do have a thing where we are keeping together some EPing points, and that is tracked by least amount of deaths. So currently, Bay is definitely in the lead.
Congrats on your 25
Just by
deaths,
hair,
Ryan!
just by hair.
Count them up to 25
it's okay,
deaths for
it's okay,
Brutall.
It's okay. It's okay.
He just didn't
got
start with
this.
enough tacos this morning.
got
Holy
this.
cow.
It happens.
Alliance clearly
It
seems
It's
to
okay,
be...
guys. We'll just never speak of this again, except for the part where it'll be on YouTube tomorrow.
That's right.
I ain't scared.
I don't know, Ann. I gotta tell you, Alliance seems to have a lot more prepared here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
just a bit, just a bit.
I don't know about Horde. I mean, they were doing great right at the offset, but that
For like
instant
30
wipe.
seconds, you know, they were doing really well.
Right.
Yeah, 30 seconds. I got this. It's okay. I already forgot what button I need to press on Razor Gore too, so it's no big deal.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Look at this. All right,
You know what they
Alliance
say,
versus
raiding was so much harder back then.
That's right.
Much more difficult.
Absolutely. You can wipe instantly at level 90. That's pretty
That
incredible.
takes preparation right there. That takes
You know, I got
preparation.
so prepared for this, and I completely forgot to tell the raid. Don't kill
Don't
Razor
kill
Gore.
the dragon.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
That's
a
sort
good
of why
question
I
right there.
started with Blackwing Lair first. Because like 2 spells kill him.
Wow,
Oh my gosh.
the truth comes out. Bit of an advantage here.
Hey,
to
Ryan's
making
been
the schedule.
talking smack for weeks, so I'm just
I
gonna,
got this. I ain't scared.
You got this?
Now to kind
Alright.
of
Yeah, I like
explain
what
what's going on.
says. Razor Gore takes revenge for years of being such an easy boss.
It says here that for this fight, if you notice what they're doing here with the eggs, Razor Gore requires players to control him to destroy all of the eggs in the room. Players initially get 90 seconds to control the boss, but time is shaved off if the player or Razor Gore are hit by the mobs, which pour out continuously throughout the encounter. And if he dies before all the eggs are destroyed, everyone is instantly killed.
Yes.
So I
it's-
would
we
explain
just
what we
saw.
just saw.
Fight's actually been kind of nerfed. The cooldown to break egg now is instant. It used to have like a long cooldown, like 4 to 6 seconds, which delayed, of course, the initial phase. Granted, back in the day, this fight was actually so difficult in raiding that people would actually divine intervention to... and we just wiped 2?
Oh,
Yeah!
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm talking about.
I told you, it's just like LFR. You're just going to be fighting your raiders.
We had all
Alliance.
the eggs down.
Oh my goodness.
I had killed all the
So
eggs.
A likely
Oh,
excuse.
okay.
A likely excuse.
That's fantastic.
Well, it
You
looks like
watched
they're
it
a little more
happen.
even now.
What
Now,
the
hopefully,
heck?
Brutal can take advantage of this time to catch up.
We'll find out. Oh, they're letting me get. Oh, they're letting me get attacked.
The Alliance quickly rebuffing, reorganizing. Bay is typing furiously in chat to try and get his
Very
Raiders back on
furiously.
track.
Oh
Because
my
Brutal's
goodness.
catching up. Brutal is
No,
catching
I'm
up.
ahead now. There's no catching up. I'm in the lead, baby.
Chat room is saying there's a cooldown period after killing the eggs. Bill Rock in the chat room, Horde wins, eat it, ally scum, Horde wins.
Someone get base and toilet paper. Alliance just wiped.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
Yeah,
quote
I
from
mean,
Mini
we-
Metal 94. That's quote of the evening so far.
This is the thing, like they have to keep in mind they are level 90. Razor Gore can get 2-shot. Essentially, you got to be so careful. If one of their raiders throws up a dot, throws up some type of instant ability, kills Razor Gore before all the eggs, that's it. That
Yeah,
is it.
absolutely. Yeah, it's easy to forget that there are still some mechanics that are just insta-death in these old zones that you do actually have to avoid.
That is so
if you're going to
weird.
get through them. And that doesn't make them difficult, but it does make them require a little bit of coordination when you've got 25 people in your raid who are probably being pretty dot heavy and pretty cleave happy.
Right.
Yeah,
Be
there's definitely
careful
a mechanic
spreading
like
those
that.
dots.
There's a mechanic like that later this evening that we'll see also in Black Temple, and that'll be quite exciting when we get to Felmist. That will be fun.
Oh,
Absolutely.
the blame
All right,
emotes
so-
coming out.
Horde is trying to still rally. They're what are they moving on to here? What are we looking at?
Oh, sorry
Brutal-
guys, Felmist is in Sunwell, might be. Go ahead, Koltrane.
Brutal, what is your confidence level? How are you feeling right now at this
I'm
moment?
feeling about as confident as Bay's feeling like a fool. That's how confident I'm feeling right now, baby.
Brutal appears to have moved on, and Bay, here we go. He is starting
Here
up
we
those
go
eggs.
again.
Oh gosh, no, not another one. I'll have your heads for this atrocity. Those are the words of Razor Gore, but also the words of Bay to his raid. I'll have your heads for this atrocity.
Yes.
All right, Brutal, what are you moving on to here? Who's this? What's going
This is
on?
Vale, who is now dead.
All right. a quick one shot, a hi and goodbye to
Yeah,
the
hi and goodbye. Was that a boss or was that just a trash mob?
Ah, well,
No
it could have been
kidding.
either or, you know.
that was
Could have
that
been
was
either or.
Vale the Corrupt, a Dragon King boss. There's really no point in discussing the history or lore because, well, dead. Instantly.
Yeah, because dead. Just another dragon, just another dragon.
I mean, he was enslaved by Nefarian, begs
No big
players
deal.
to put him out of his misery before he kills them. Well, that happened pretty quick, so. Brutal. Horde clearly pulling ahead.
Hey, right?
Hey, you better get it together, man. He better get it together. He's still on Razor
I don't
Gore
know.
here.
Bay's a planner. Bay is a planner. I'm sure that he factored all of
That's
these
so-
things into his calculations.
I guess so. What I was telling, what my raid told me in chat is when the Blackrock flag is still present on Razor Gore, he counts as still being in the the boss phase. The flag has to go away, and that wasn't faded before he got totally obliterated. And then that's when, if he dies before the script runs, then he wipes the room. And the
Gotcha.
I
effect
see.
that wipes the room is actually just called death. It's not even called anything. It's
It
just
is
called
just
death,
death.
and you don't actually take any damage. You just die.
Now,
Excellent.
in the chat room, Blame Koltrane, thank you for that. Blame
That name.
Koltrane in chat is saying that there's actually a way to possibly skip the suppressor room. Don't tell Bay and the Alliance.
I don't know. We
Whoops.
better keep that from them.
I don't
We
know if I
better
would
keep
skip
that
that. That
quiet.
seems kind of like
Yeah.
to be
better-
totally sportsman. We actually said no, we're not skipping the trash in
Right,
chat.
right, right.
Excellent. Good, good, good. So there will be no
Oh, look at
skipping of
these
trash.
guys fighting fair, except for the part where they're killing each other before the raid. Other than that,
Yeah, I know, right?
Bay has now downed Razor Gore. He has moved on to
congratulations.
Vale.
Congratulations.
Waiting for this.
Congratulations, indeed.
I want everyone to know that this raid is basically carrying me because they're so much faster than I am. The bosses are dead by the time I get to them.
Right.
So I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
Now, isn't Vale the boss that used to call out people, that used to call out classes,
No, it's
make them
Nefarian.
do,
Nope,
do
that's
strange
Nefarian.
stuff? Oh, right, okay.
Last boss.
Another dragon. More dragons.
Another dragon. He's just bigger and black.
Many dragons.
Wow.
Lots of dragons in Blackwing Lair. Now, one thing was interesting about Blackwing Lair, and you can confirm this and help me out. In Molten Core, if you were a mage, it was frost. Everything was fire. In here, in Blackwing Lair, was the first time really in a major raid zone where you can actually use a different spec. It wasn't all fire bosses,
Correct.
which was great and actually
Wrath
nice.
My
I remember
experience is showing here.
Exactly. Mages could try a different spec and not just go frost. It wasn't all fire elementals. Horde is looking strong. They are pushing forward
Very
and going.
much so.
Bay is on his way, though. He is catching up. And you're right about Bay. Bay is a planner. He's actually typed out a lot of these strats and set them out as macros so he can easily talk to his raid team, just boom, ready to go. I have a feeling Brutall has done none of that.
I'll have you know I actually made 3 macros, sir.
3 macros.
3 whole
3 macros.
That is 3 more than I expected.
But then I deleted them because I realized that I'm probably going to change halfway through.
All right.
He's a do it live.
I had
do it live
macros set
later.
up to tell people, you know, like, hey, group X go to Y location. But I figured we wouldn't have the roster that signed up, which happened to be true. So now that can't really take place any longer. So.
All right, now, Brutall, what boss? Where are you headed here?
This is the Nefarian boss right here. Right now, he's summoning his ads, and in the fight, the ads have to be, you know, killed and maintained and controlled and CC'd and so on and so forth. But obviously, we kind of just, you know, lay down the law and kill them all. Nefarian just transformed into his dragon form, and he's about to land, and he will be completely decimated within mere moments.
Here we go, Nefarian, big boss. Here we go. This is
dead.
it.
That's time.
Another
dead.
dragon.
And dead.
That's time.
Yep.
All right, we need a portal to Shatrat.
There it is.
Definitely more strategy with regard to the paths that everyone's taking rather than the boss fights at this point.
And you're absolutely right about that. And it looks like with that Nefarian kill, the Horde have completed Blackwing Lair.
Yeah, there we go. They get the
Well
first
done.
one.
There it is. First one goes
Congratulations,
to the Horde.
you guys. Congratulations.
Thanks. How long? Does anyone know how long that took? Do we have an official time for that?
Your ORA rep
Less
will have
time
it.
than
It'll be on the Google Doc.
Oh, that's right. I guess I should pull that up.
You know what? I might need a link for that as well. I actually don't have a link for the Google Doc.
Oh, here, let me send that to you.
Thank you. Now, Brutall is going to head to the next raid instance. Now, being the sportsman that he is going to actually wait for the Alliance.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
The sportsman to follow the rules. Yes, indeed.
Right. So, let's see here. Let me get that link here going, and let's find out what was the time.
Yeah, we just decided when we were going through this that it wouldn't be really fair to penalize or benefit one of the factions for having less travel time to one of the zones, which is why we're not counting travel time here, in case y'all who are watching at home are wondering why we're making this a pause. It's just much more interesting to watch them race through the raids than to race to the raids when different factions have different amounts of travel time to each place.
Correct.
Absolutely. And plus, if a case like this happens and one clearly pulls ahead, where's the drama? You know what I mean? This is a race, baby. We got to start together and see who finishes first.
Right, it would just be less interesting if Brutall's group had an advantage going through all of the raid zones. They should start again here. And it'll give each person a chance to have a victory with regard to each raid zone.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't punish Bay for his complete and total failure.
Wow.
That's true. I expected better of you, Bay. You're
That
representing
vanilla
our faction
trigger.
here.
That vanilla
Come
trigger.
on.
There it is.
You watched
Where's
it on
that
my
Alliance
stream
pride?
though. It was so funny. Like, because when you kill the last egg, you lose control over the dragon, right? Razor Gore becomes uncontrollable. So Nefarian is just landing for me now. I'm about to dunk on him.
Boom.
Yeah, you
Slamma, jamma.
Oh yes, I was definitely watching, and yes, I did laugh at you. It was funny.
Woo! And with that, the Alliance has completed Blackwing Lair. Well
Congratulations, Alliance. Better late than never.
done. Yes.
Wow.
Now let's see for round 2 if the Alliance this time can pull ahead And let's see what happens. I'm actually
Yeah,
really
we'll see what
curious
happens.
about this.
Black Temple is not a short instance, so it's going to be short with regard to the length of time the bosses stay up, but it is not a very short instance to go through and to actually physically get through from start
Medallion
to
of
finish.
Karabor
So
is not
it'll give them a
allowed.
lot of time to come up with ways to take shortcuts and just basically speed from boss to boss, and I think it'll be interesting to see who's got the best path planned out. Who do you think is going to make it first through this one, Koltrane?
I'm going to
Horde.
go with Alliance
Horde.
on this one.
Horde.
No,
I'm
I
gonna
think
go
it's
with
going to be
Alliance.
Alliance as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in agreement
because
there.
You
when you
crazy.
talk about things like planning ahead, things like organization, I tend to go more with Bay than Brutal
Wow.
on that.
Wow.
You know,
guys?
but think
Wow.
about it. Isn't that the way of the Horde, though, Brutal, right? Brutal, like the Horde is just brute force, right? You're just going to power through this. I have a feeling that Brutal might not have even considered different paths in the Black Temple. I don't know. Is he going to go left or right? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You're
Did you,
unbelievable.
Well, this will really show who put more preparation in. Did either one of you guys do prep runs through these instances to practice?
Maybe, maybe not. Don't worry about it.
Maybe, maybe not. I
I'm
think
thinking
it's
more
like
maybe
maybe
not.
for you. Yeah. Faye, did you do any practice runs?
I did
he's
some
been
stuff
there.
earlier in the week, yes.
That is what I thought
You
he
see?
did. I thought I saw him doing that.
You see? That's
Alliance
that
are the
planning.
thinkers ahead. But I will
That's
say
that
that Brutal, he's got the strength where he'll think on the spot and he'll make the right decision on the spot. Not sure if that's going to matter with these bosses dying so quickly, but we may see that a little bit later in this evening.
I
So I've
completely
got some
agree.
faith in the Horde.
Yes, you can't. I mean, they won the first one. They won the first
They
round with
did.
Blackwing Lair, and I was a little concerned about Horde with the immediate wipe.
I was a little concerned too, not gonna lie.
Yeah, 10 seconds in, wipe. That
I can
pretty
laugh
crazy.
off a mistake or an issue, but that was a pretty glaring problem right there from the get-go.
Absolutely. All
It
right,
was
so
quite
Horde
amusing,
is
though.
getting set up. Brutal offering some encouragement to his raid, saying, "Looking good, guys. Keep it up." Alliance making their way down. I'm getting a quick request from the chat room for a fortune cookie. So here we go. Fortune cookies say, a Tauren valedictorian is some grade A beef. Yes. So there it is. My apologies. That is
Oh,
your fortune
wow.
cookie.
You
Yes.
do need to apologize to everyone for that one.
Absolutely. I will
Wow.
apologize for nothing except the glory of the fortune cookies. All right, here we go. So Alliance making their way on over. So
We are
let's,
ready, by
let's
the way.
talk about Black Temple
We're
here.
flying across Shadowmoon Valley, so.
That's fine.
Oh, there are definitely some fights in here that I want to see them hit, and Santa Marcy in Brutal's chat brought up one of my favorites in this zone, the Essence of Souls. I have definitely one-shot myself on that boss.
Right.
I have done
The-
it. I have done it.
I think we're all guilty of this. This is actually, it's kind of a tricky one to be able to solo. A lot of people, like you were saying, come here for transmog because there's some incredible gear that drops out of here, especially for transmog purposes. But yeah, I think it's the Reliquary
The
of
Reliquary
Souls or
of
something.
Souls.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Reliquary of Souls.
Yeah,
But that is a
Reliquary of
crazy
Swords,
fight.
but, yeah, Essence, all of the different bosses in that fight are called essences of stuff. So I
Right.
think of it as essence.
Yes,
But
exactly.
this is, yeah, absolutely. These old raid zones have the best looking gear. I honestly think some of the best looking gear in the game was made back in this expansion, and these instances are the ones that people tend to go back through for all of that gear. So I think a lot of us, even if we didn't raid these zones, are very familiar with these instances.
It's interesting too, Burning Crusade. Now that our raiders here have stepped into this, some people refer to Burning Crusade as the best of the best in raiding. That some of the best times, some of the best instances, some of the best raids were in this expansion in Burning Crusade. So we'll see, and I'll tell you, Black Temple was definitely one of them. I mean, but it did break a lot of raid teams. But
It definitely broke a lot of raid teams, and so did Sunwell, which we will see a little bit later this evening. I
Oh,
personally
yes.
think that's a little bit of rose-colored glasses looking back on BC and calling it the best raiding ever was, but a lot of people feel that way. There are definitely a lot of people who think that. So.
now Burning Crusade, that was Karazhan, right?
Absolutely.
That was Karazhan, one of the best raid zones that some people consider. It's beautiful. There's so many things to it. The Opera House. There's so many amazing memories that people have from Karazhan. It's just a well-liked, well-made zone. In fact, there were rumors that it might be brought back in some ways, hopefully into warlords, but we're not sure if that's going to be happening now. But there were some rumors at a time. Everyone got very excited. There were some great events in Karazhan, the chess event, the Opera House, a lot of great things. But at the end of this expansion, or near the end here, was the Black Temple with Illidan, the Betrayer. So
absolutely, one of the most memorable quotes out of this entire game comes from that fight. So we'll see it.
We'll find out pretty soon who is prepared and who is not prepared.
Oh, I think we'll see.
I gotta tell you, I think my money is on the Alliance for this one. I think the Alliance is much more prepared than the Horde, but we'll see, because the Horde pulled it out in the first one.
They were starting at zone in, right?
Excuse me?
We are starting at the zone in, correct?
Yeah, so you can start by your Ashworn guy if you want to. Like, yeah.
Well, we're already down here at the zone in, so just start there if you guys haven't moved ahead.
Zone in what? Like when you walk into the Black Temple?
Like the actual zone in instance portal thing.
Brutall has actually walked in, so he's actually
Brutall's
in.
raid is inside, just inside the starting zone.
Horde getting buffed up, laying down that food, looking for any edge that they can. Hopefully we don't get a one-shot wipe on the first boss.
Yeah, let's hope not. It would be very, very difficult, honestly, to one-shot yourself on this first boss. There are fights in here that may be a little bit more complicated for them to go through, but I don't believe the first one is one of them.
I don't know. I'm really not counting out anything at this point. I mean, really.
It's taking you so long, Bay. Come on.
You never know. All right.
Sportsmanship takes me a while. I had a DC on the login when we shared to the chat route.
I can respect that.
Not everyone has amazing computers. You know, they could be playing from who knows where right now.
Listen to that man, so loyal to his team. That's Alliance right there.
There it is.
The one who's loyal to his team, the guy who wins. And I'm currently winning.
That doesn't mean you're loyal. What the heck?
Oh no, it does. Loyalty has inspired the win.
A lot of anger between each faction. You can just tell. But you know what's amazing about these two people is they really encompass the very essence of the faction that they represent.
You hear that? You're the essence of Varian Rinne.
Right.
I wish I had Chris Mattson's voice.
For you.
I mean, the essence. Oh, sorry.
All right, so it looks like Bay and his band of Alliance Raiders are going to be zoning in. They're zoning into the Black Temple. Horde all set, ready to go. Now, if I'm Brutall at this point, I'd now be kind of discussing strat. Maybe not, or just sit around. I mean, that's really, that's their choice.
Need a taco break sometime.
We're up at the Ashen Deathsworn, little dude. If you're ready to go, Ryan.
Hold on. Let's wait. No.
Hold up. We got to start this together here. Hold on.
I'm doing DBM polls after we say we're both ready to go. I do DBM poll 5 if you want to do that.
All right, hold on one second there. The
by.
Horde is getting in place. They are moving up to the Ashran guy, but hold there. Brutall instructs his raid.
Oh, we got someone. Oh, wait, we're good.
Okay,
yeah,
we look to be
We're good.
Ready to go, Ryan? Ready to go?
Yep. Approval, they both look prepped.
All right, pulling in 5.
3, 2, 1. Boom, here we go.
And here we go. Let's see.
All right. Black Temple,
that
starting it
Ghost
up.
rushing ahead. Here we go, the first of many trash pulls, just skipping straight on through it.
Blowing right past the trash. Boy, this trash took forever back in the day for raid
I mean,
teams.
it still takes forever when you go back there. If
That's
you sit
true.
around and kill it all.
This was an hour, like hours and hours of a raid instance that this took, and they were just blowing it right by it.
It's definitely a great feeling when you go back to one of these zones that just took you so long to clear back in the day and you just dominate everything.
Absolutely.
It really makes you feel like a badass.
Mm-hmm. I really like the aesthetic here. Black Temple.
Yeah, you really feel like you've just crawled into like a broken pipe and you're sneaking in through the bottom, which is what you're doing.
Right. It is the fortress
Without the
citadel
smell.
of Illidan Stormrage. It's his citadel. It contains tier 6 set pieces as well as many notable items, including the Twin Blades of Azzinoth. It's also known for providing reputation for the Ash-Tongue Deathsworn, which is easily earned through clearing the raid a few times. The old Warglaives. This is the big legendary thing that rogues and everybody loves. Those really awesome weapons that Illidan uses. Drops off the final boss.
Seen those on plenty of people. They are
All right, so
definitely
it
one
looks
of
like the Alliance
items.
is engaging. They're a little bit ahead. Alliance a little bit ahead of the Horde here. engaging Supremus. Supremus is down.
Yeah,
Horde
see,
is
that
right
fight
there.
is
They're
quite
neck
a bit
and
more
neck.
interesting. That fight is quite a bit more interesting when it lasts a bit longer.
Oh,
Definitely
someone,
when I did this, I've
someone
done this
had
place
the.
with my level 70 raid group, and definitely a little bit of yelling at people when they get targeted to kite.
Someone
Right.
had the granite thing that kills things and it freezes them in place. When we killed Supremus, he's a giant frozen boss.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
I like the knives for that very same reason. The knives that cut any boss up into like a little pile of meat.
This is a great
You guys
thing.
know what
Both
I'm talking
teams
about.
just rushing through these raids. And it is nice for those of us that have not seen this raid before. Kind of nice to take a little trip. Brutall giving some words of encouragement to his raid. Good job, guys. Let's roll.
Now this is where I always used to get lost when I was doing this place on my own.
Right.
On
I think
the way to
Brutall-
Shade.
Does Brutall know where he's going? Is he
We
following?
hope Brutall knows where he's going.
Let's see. This is a time run. Both teams appear to be neck and neck.
He does
Appear
have a
to
slight
be.
advantage being in Ghost Wolf form.
I cannot wait to see them get into the Reliquary of Souls, however that is pronounced. That's going to be a fun fight to watch.
Definitely.
The chat room is noticing Stormwind behind me. They're saying I have some Alliance bias. Look, just because I'm wearing a blue shirt and I'm in Stormwind means in no way
Stormwind.
am I rooting for the Alliance in any way here whatsoever.
Definitely no subconscious messages intended with that one.
No, zero. I don't know where you
Definitely
would be
not.
getting that. I'm frankly offended.
Well, then
Here we go.
it looks like I've got to give Brutall my support then, just so that we're even here. So come on, Brutall.
Here we
Expect you to pull it
go.
out.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. Thanks, Anna.
All right, so
Guess
Brutall,
I'm stuck with you.
Brutall on the Reliquary of... No, maybe not.
No,
What
no,
is
it's Shade. We got Shade next.
This is Shade.
There's
Gotcha.
there are a couple more fights that they have to go through. This place is long, believe me. There is a lot to do in here.
It's long
They
and
have to do
mean.
Shade. They have to do Terran Gorfiend. That was fun. They have to do Blood Boil, and then they're going to get to Reliquary of Souls.
Holy cow.
After that, there's a fight that's going to be quite interesting to have a look at. Mother Shiraz. We'll see when we get there whether or not they get any mechanics at all.
Just blowing
Lucy's
through this
giving me-
trash. Amazing. Back in the day when this was progression, this would take hours and hours and hours. And the trash alone would take forever.
Says
I really like the models here, where we're seeing on Brutall's stream here. These models look really great for these bosses. The voices are creepy. Everything about Black Temple is just plain creepy.
Definitely.
All right.
And I love
So
that
what
you
do you
had the
think?
little vendor here. The little vendor was just so random, like right at this point where it looks like Bay is right now.
Mm-hmm. So what do you
Man.
think, Anna? Who do you think's pulling ahead here? Are they still pretty much neck and neck?
No, I think that Bay's got the advantage. Look at him. Look at him go. Oh, it looks like they are taking different paths through this instance.
They are. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see whose plays off. It looks like Brutall's group already is at the Reliquary of Souls, whereas Bay is going the way that I was talking about before, where he is probably going to Shade next year. Although to be honest, I get so lost in this instance that I'm not going to know what boss they're at until they actually pull it.
Right.
Well,
It is-
it doesn't look like Reliquary of Souls presented any problem at all for Brutall's team, so they are just rushing ahead here.
Absolutely. Having no problem whatsoever
No problem whatsoever.
with that raid encounter. And now Bay is just starting that fight himself here pretty soon. Brutall has
indeed.
entered the
There he
halls
goes.
of English. And here we are with Bay.
We'll see if anyone kills themselves on this fight. The relevant phase of the fight is going to be up only for a couple of seconds, so we may not actually see anyone deal enough damage to themselves to make it happen. But we can
Bay's
always
typing
hope.
out.
We can always hope.
Yeah, absolutely. He's typing out instructions. One of those being just
I
don't
love
pull her.
the
See,
I gotta
the
do,
raid does not pull
I gotta get
her.
my
Let's
bloodstone
find out.
on.
Cheating with wolf forms. No, that's the advantage of being a shaman. I am excited to see the raised movement speed coming in for Shaman Ghost Wolf next expansion. Did I
Can't
read
use
that
it.
correctly?
You use it. It's out of combat now. It makes you a mount. That's what it does.
Well,
you can't
yeah,
use it in
but
combat.
that's-
I'm loving this
Even so.
bloodstone. I hope more of my raid turns on their the bind stone or whatever it's called. What is it called? Yeah, the bind stone, the one that freezes things in granite. It's so goofy to see random giant Black Temple mobs just like. That's great.
Now, I'm actually curious if this was in, if this still
Oh,
exists.
they are going to Mother Shiraz. It looks like Brutall is ahead here. Did he skip some bosses?
No, you can't skip bosses.
Okay.
Listen, you guys may accuse me of not knowing what I'm doing and not planning, but little do you know, I'm way better at stuff than they.
You do realize that
Wait.
you're only seeing my point of view. Look how many people are not in range
Yeah,
on my group.
I see exactly what's going on here. Half-a-Jai brought it up in chat as well. They have split the raid into, it looks like, at least 2 different groups. Both of them have to kill bosses as fast as possible. We are going to see how this works out for them. That's a very smart thing, and it looks like both of the raids have taken this strategy.
They split up the groups. That's brilliant.
They split up the groups. I know, brilliant. It's as though they both knew that this was a race.
Right, and they realized that you don't need a full 25 to bring these bosses down, especially at level 90. So they split them up. I mean, look at their raid frames. People are completely out of range of each other. On Brutall's screen, I'm only seeing about 4 to 5 people on his screen. With Bay, I'm literally only seeing Bay. Is Bay soloing Black Temple? My gosh.
Well, it can be done. The question is whether it's actually the faster choice when all of your raiders have to finish the zone. I assume that they all do have to finish it. Or can this race end with them split up into 2 groups?
That's a great question.
That is an edge case in our rules.
A possible loophole.
I would imagine that there should not be like one person killing the final boss of the raid.
Right.
You should all kind of accumulate to the last boss.
I assume so as well. Well, we'll see how this works out. This is a very interesting strategy that they are taking here.
Look at Brutall going. So Brutall's got his summons out. They've all summoned. Looks like they've all gathered back together to open the door here. Boy, Horde looking
Wow,
strong.
then definitely Horde looking strong on this one. See, now I wish that we had more time to look at some of these fights, because Mother Shiraz was one of those fights that people talk about being a fight that they remember as being very difficult or very frustrating, depending on who you speak to. I know that there's a mechanic she does where she teleports 3 people and you have to run away from each other. You're connected by lines, bad lines.
That was a crazy fight on during progression back in the day.
Oh yeah, back in the day, and you'd yell at people, and I don't know if the mods auto-marked back then, but I do know that it was quite frequent that someone would get teleported into the couch, and they wouldn't be able to move at all. I actually saw that happen when I was in here with a group a couple of months ago.
This is good. Brutall making sure all of his raiders are here. Brutall is getting ready to pull.
I got charmed by a courtesan. What the crap?
Oh no! Oh dear.
It's running me toward my raid though. That's totally fine. Thanks.
Where's that every man for himself there, Bay? Oh wait.
You can't break it with a the charm doesn't work yet.
Oh my gosh.
You can't?
No.
So Brutall, the Horde, starting up the RP with Illidan Stormrage. He's got his full raid there and ready to go.
Wow, and we were bad-mouthing Brutall for having a lack of planning. This was very impressive.
Well, you just can't see it because I'm behind. Our RP is starting too, so don't get too ahead of yourselves, friends.
Well, you need. Let's all be together before we all fight him.
Well, we gotta be able to see the end of that boss fight. Oh, okay, I see.
Right.
All right, looks like Bay is getting to the door. They are opening the door here.
My biggest concern is bugging out a boss. Killing him too quickly. It's my biggest concern.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the biggest concern with these old school raids that we're doing here is actually bugging the bosses out because they're not meant to go down this quickly.
Right.
All right, Horde, they're on phase 2 here. Illidan taken to the air, to the skies. Oh, Alliance, you better catch up,
think that
man.
Horde
Flame of
may
Azina.
have this one.
Here we go.
Very impressive.
Boy, Illidan's health was going down quick. He was like, whoa, I better get up in the air fast.
Are we stopping timer the moment his death RP starts, or when we can loot him?
When you can loot him, the boss is
when
dead.
you can loot him.
Okay.
When you can loot him.
All right. Holy cow. So begins the end RP.
So begins.
Ooh, Horde is looking strong.
Why?
Strong in this
Akama,
retro
please.
raid race.
Underestimated by both of us.
Yeah.
Definitely proving us wrong.
I
Very
split into
Absolutely.
4
Very well
groups. I don't know why
done.
it took so
I
long.
stand corrected. Holy cow.
You sit corrected, sir. Get it straight.
I
He
sit
sits
corrected.
in Stormwind corrected.
Right. I best sit correct. Oh my gosh. And there it is. There it is. The Horde.
There it is. Yeah, congratulations to the Horde. A very, very close race, though, it looks like. Much closer than the last one.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Illidan the Betrayer is down. Wow, congratulations to the Horde for clearing first Black Temple. And you're right, Anna, both of us thought this was going to go to Bay. We look at Bay and this is a man who plans. This is a man who strategizes. But apparently Brutall does as well.
And I like that he didn't fight with us at the time that we brought it up either.
No,
he just
of
let
course
us go
not.
off and then proved us wrong.
You're done right.
We know who was prepared now.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, look at that. The Horde
Definitely a
2-0 so
classic
far as the Alliance fighting Illidan, now hitting phase 2. Oh my gosh, this is a close race. But the Horde is pulling it out.
Yep, very much so. See, now it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next zone, because I actually misnamed what boss was in the zone that I wanted to see. Felmist is actually in the next zone that we're going to be seeing, Sunwell Plateau, an instance remembered with lots and lots of affection by plenty of raiders who are still raiding now and raiders who are not raiding anymore. Killed a whole lot of raid groups, but definitely a very difficult instance.
Claimed the lives of many. In particular, there was a fight there, Muru, before the nerf. Now, this was a time when you could actually have drums of Bloodlust.
Yes.
And you could stack those drums. So I think everyone in the raid was pretty much a leather worker, I believe. So everyone would have these drums, and you would just stack classes like crazy. But yeah, Sunwell Plateau claimed more raid teams, I think, than anyone.
Yep, definitely the case. It was an instance that is remembered with great affection, but also great frustration by plenty of raiders who did it back then.
On the Horde side, no Warglaves drops. Let's see if it drops for the Alliance.
He's RPing. Okay. Yeah, he's talking to Mayev. Best fanfic
Oh, but
ever.
I still think, regardless of the fact that the Horde has pulled ahead here at the beginning, there is definitely a lot of chances for the Alliance to make it back up, make that time back up, and pull back into the lead.
More than I want to think about.
Oh, Crystal Spire drop, but no Warglaves.
No Warglaive. No Warglaive for either raid. But a big congratulations to the Horde.
LOL.com does say that Vale had the most deaths ever in the Blizzard blog. Now, is that across all bosses ever in history? Is this what you're speaking of? I'd like to see this blog.
Like, what do you mean, Vale? Who?
I'm reading out of chat. I'm reading out of Brutall's chat here. LOL.com says that Vale had the most deaths ever in the Blizzard blog.
I believe that's incorrect. I believe the most deaths was Hogger.
Pretty sure it's Hogger.
Caused the most deaths of anyone. Or the Murlocs by that dang lake.
Those tears.
The Stormwind starting area. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I will say that chat's looking forward to Felmist as well. Lots of players, lots of mind control gonna happen. We'll actually see.
Well,
if we
I
get a
don't.
mind control
Will we
phase.
even?
He may not even fly up in the air.
That might be a challenge, Ryan. Do we want to force ourselves to do one dance?
I'm sorry, force ourselves to do what?
One dance on Felmist.
That would be interesting. I'm not sure if the raiders would be prepped to
I
not
doubt she'll live
DPS.
that long, to be honest with you.
Well, you would say
Yeah.
no DPS until after one dance.
I mean, I'm here to kill bosses.
Right.
I mean,
I don't think it's
I mean,
gonna
if
be
you're not
possible to
man
do
enough
I
to
don't
do a
think it's gonna be
dance.
Well, no,
I mean,
the
we're
problem
kind of
is that I
falling
just
asleep
don't
here.
think it's-
We're
I
kind
don't
of
think
falling
it's
asleep at the
possible.
zone in for Sunwell Plateau, waiting for you since you're taking so long.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
Oh,
I mean, I don't
Oh,
want to ask too
baby.
much of my raid because they've done so much carrying my sorry butt and kicking yours this whole
Ah.
time. So,
This is
wow,
fantastic.
strong words.
Listen to this. Alliance versus Horde.
no, Alliance losing the Horde. There's a difference.
Ah,
There's a difference.
Wow. There are plenty more races to go, my friend.
This is
Sounds
just
like somebody has his ego pumped up from those first two races.
that's right. Which, you know, could be
Being-
good or bad.
Being
Brutal could be
told
walking
that
into
actually
night-
he will fly up at 1% regardless, so we have to do a dance.
Oh, good. Good to know. Good to know. So we'll see it. I think it would have been very difficult to tell the raid just because you can only communicate via text. And come on, we all know that people don't read chat. Half these
read
guys
chat
are
now.
probably playing Bejeweled.
All right, you ready to go,
Ryan?
Ryan?
We are here. Just say when.
All right, going in 5.
2, 1, and it is on.
Go.
It is on like Donkey Kong, the Sunwell Plateau. Horde versus Alliance. The Horde so far 2-0. Stepping into Sunwell, looking incredibly strong. We'll see if the Alliance can pull this one out, as each team is just blowing past this trash on their way to the first boss, I believe, which is Kalagos and Sathrovar.
Right.
Yeah, this is just a beautiful zone. This, I think, is is the most beautiful raid zone that Blizzard has ever made. This zone and Ulduar, I think, are the most visually attractive zones.
Amazing, yeah. So gorgeous.
And such a
the nice thing about
contrast.
these.
Such a contrast from the Black Temple. A Sunwell Plateau 25 main raid instance located on the Isle of Quel'Danas. You guys remember that daily zone, that island? I certainly do.
That was the introduction of super dailies, wasn't it?
Yes.
Super
That was
dailies.
that's where you had to start doing dailies for real.
Yes, and in this, you would do a daily. For those that didn't play it, you would accomplish certain dailies, and then the actual zone would change. After a certain number of dailies were accomplished or completed, more of the zone would actually change. This actually was implemented with patch 2.4. 2.4 back in the day. This instance is intended to be the most difficult in the game until Wrath of the Lich King, and of course at that time catered to Black Temple Hyjal geared raiders. The instance boss drop tokens redeemable for new prices added the tier 6 armor sets. Another great place for transmog.
Definitely. Although it is slightly frustrating that some of the pieces out of the tier 6 armor sets do not match the rest. I believe some of the pieces that they threw into was it Sunwell that they threw them in? They aren't colored exactly the same, and it's consistent across the multiple tier 6 sets.
Well, we had tier 6 set was originally a 5-piece, and they added 3 pieces in Black Temple, and those
teams
sort
seem
of
to be
matched, but didn't totally match.
Yeah, not always. And this is, but this is definitely an instance where plenty of the most classic sets came out of, and it's also remembered very fondly by many raiders. And we are coming up here to. It looks like Bay's raid is coming up to Felmist.
Well, Brutalis
and
and then
Brutalis
Felmist,
first, and then Felmist. Yes, and
There we
so
go.
they're both coming to the same place.
Alliance slightly ahead.
30% of all players in the world, that is way too high. I mean, that is 30% with like people who've gone back in for gear over the last like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when it was content, Sunwell was seen by less than 10% of the world. Because it was a statistic used because that's why LFR was created in the first place.
Yeah, I'm thinking 3%, maybe more like 0.3% to the end.
Yeah,
I know that
it's definitely low.
I spoke to some of my friends who did this this place back when they were very competitive, and the whole feeling of there's a moment later in this zone where you go down a set of stairs to the very end, and they had that feeling when they went down those set of stairs that they were some of the only players in the world who had seen it at that point and would ever see it, at least in that expansion.
Alliance engaging Brutalis, slightly ahead of the Horde.
Yep, ahead of me this time. Good
The
grief.
fight has begun.
My wall
Yeah,
hasn't
it
even
looks
broken
like
yet.
Baypul's ahead.
And that is also a big argument, what is actually a good thing about LFR. People are actually able to see the content. Now, we don't need to talk about the difficulty and all this other fun stuff that LFR is associated with, the wonderful chat box, but it is a great thing about LFR is that people are actually able to see this. So few people saw this raid. Look how beautiful this, look how epic this is. And so few people actually got to see it. So that is a big benefit in my mind to LFR. Is just for accessibility. People able to see these epic raid zones.
Yep, and it definitely also shows you why people get so excited about going back to old instances, even in future expansions, to see some of the things that they missed and collect some of the gear that they were never able to get. I never really saw the appeal of going back to old instances until I started getting interested in transmog gear, and then I realized that it gave some people who never had the chance to see these places when they were at level content just a chance to look through them and to see what they looked like. I know probably a lot of our viewers watching right now didn't do Sunwell when it was current content. Maybe they heard from people who did it. Maybe they weren't playing the game at that point yet. I mean, I know that I didn't do Sunwell when it was current. I'm going to have a lot more to say about some of the later things that we'll see here in this race. But it's nice to see these things, and it's one of the things that makes a race
There
like
she
this
is.
really fun.
Right.
The
I know, I hate
Felmist
how long it
RP
takes.
is insane,
I know, it
dude!
takes
So
forever.
long.
Oh my god!
Both teams getting antsy, ready to start that next boss. Alliance slightly ahead. They're about to engage Felmist here.
Yeah, I
while
think
the
he's like
Horde
30
waits.
seconds ahead or so.
There it is, and down goes Felmist. The Horde's still waiting. Ooh, the Alliance looking strong this round.
Very much so.
Come on, Kalik! Blow on this! Sneeze on the fire, damn it!
Bay hoping they sneeze on the fire to put it out so they can move on. Oh my gosh, look at this.
Look at them go.
Another quick fortune cookie requested. Fortune cookies say, a druid who fights in tree form is called a combat log. Huh?
That is horrible.
Oh, that's some bongos right there, sir.
Yeah.
Good.
Who
That
are
was
these people
amazing.
who are asking him for these fortune
Oh.
cookies? My goodness.
The glory of the fortune.
Oh, that was
cookie.
amazing.
The
That was
class
pretty
of
good.
the humor in this stuff. Fap and Cow, why Bay never mounts up is beyond me. That's because Ghost Wolf is awesome. That is why Bay doesn't mount
If
up.
I have
because
sprint and Ghost Wolf, it's
is
as
awesome.
fast, and you
Well, I'm
cannot
bugged,
you
I
can't
can't
mount
mount.
everywhere.
Now, I believe back in the day, and I'm trying to remember if this was still the case in the Burning Crusade, there was a time where Shaman were only on the Horde, and Paladin were only on the Alliance.
I remember that.
So I remember watching videos, so things like Bloodlust was only available to the Horde. So Bloodlust has become such an iconic ability, a 30% haste buff, I believe it's 30, and that was only available to Horde at that time. However, Paladins, they had all the blessings. Now, I believe they were like 5 minutes long, but they had a lot of those buffs. So there was a big thing, and then eventually, and maybe it was Burning Crusade. I think it was Burning Crusade was the first time, actually, where they allowed Shaman. It was actually through Draenei, where they allowed Shaman to be on the Alliance side.
Yep, and Paladins through Blood Elves on the Horde side.
Correct.
Because back in the day, only the Blood Elves could be Paladins on Horde side, and then they gave Paladins to the Red Bulls.
There it is.
Here we go.
Engaging. There it is, phase 2.
Phase 2 looks like they're just dominating Maru there all the way straight through.
Wow, look at that.
See, now we missed the ledge boss here, because I guess it's not necessary any longer, but the ledge boss was always very amusing. Those of you who have done Sunwell, and I know that there are several of you guys watching, will definitely laugh at that memory.
Chat room is confirming, yeah, Bloodlust and Heroism came in the Burning Crusade. So, yeah, there was, it was just Horde and Shaman. There was a difference between the two in Classic. Not Vanilla, we're calling it Classic.
This is stupid. I can't mount. I'm bugged.
Wow.
This is ridiculous.
We may have just
Looks like
bugged in
the
Tropius.
Alliance are way ahead. Oh,
I
no,
think we
it looks
bugged
like
in
they may have.
Tropius.
Yeah, it looks like you killed him a bit too fast.
Stand by. Stand by.
He fully formed and everything.
Stand by.
Yeah, this
the
was
door
what we were
won't go
afraid of,
down.
that bugging the instances would be the #1 worry in this.
That's right. You kill these guys so quick, the game's like, oh, I'm supposed to go to another phase now.
Well, he phased. He has to phase.
Okay, let me just say something real quick. You guys were giving me grief. You were giving me some smack talk earlier about not prepping. Well, guess what? I know that Muru bugs at ridiculous kill time speeds, so I only sent in one group to kill Muru, and we're on our way to kill Killjade. So what?
Oh,
That's
There
how Horde
it
does.
is.
my
That's how
goodness.
Horde does.
There it is.
What you gonna do, bae?
Right.
What you gonna do?
Wow. Brutal, very eloquently put. That he has prepped. He has prepared. He is
Eat it.
ready to go.
Eat it.
Oh my gosh.
So how
What
much
is
time we
happening
tacking on
now?
the bae? How much
I
time we
have
tacking
to
on
be
the bae?
impressed.
Look at this.
It would have been dead
Boom,
the
we're
same.
done. That's boom, boom.
There it is.
There it is. Let's
Oh.
move on, shall we?
Wow.
Let's
wow.
move on.
Points to Brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brutally dominating the competition here.
I am incredibly impressed. Holy cow. The Horde is just dominated. The amount of prep work here.
Amount of prep work.
Wow.
Wow,
So
bet
Brutal
you
had
have some
found
work
out
to do.
Muru, that it does bug. So we only sent
Put the
one
Konya!
group in to kill it.
We only had one group
Very
too.
impressive.
Wow. Look at that. The Horde looking strong. Alliance.
Heartbreaking too. Heartbreaking because the Alliance was well ahead when that happened. Oh, I was
were.
cheering for you, Bay.
They were dominating at that time. They were ahead. I wouldn't say dominating, but they definitely were ahead and looking strong.
See, now this begs the question of what we're going to do here now. Do we redo that instance, or do we just kind of
can't.
give
You
the win
got
to
you got
Brutal
to
and
tack
keep
on.
on
You got
going?
to tack on time
I see. Okay.
for Bay. I don't know. We'll have to figure out like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, but we will be moving along to the next zone then.
Onyxia, which I told my team to go to Valorant for some stupid reason. I read the wrong line in that thing. So we'll be a few minutes late to Onyxia's lair.
Brutal is asking that we tack on 4 hours to base time.
Sounds fair to me.
Yeah. Holy cow. Look at this. Chat room going crazy for the Horde. A lot of support.
Yeah!
Indeed. Boom goes the dynamite.
Yes. Horde is looking groovy like a drive-in movie. Brutal asking the question to his raid, who was saved to Onyxia? Is there
was
somebody saved?
There was. Well, he already knew about it, so I just kicked him. He'll be back for ICC.
Good,
brutal.
good.
Man,
wow. Look at
it was.
this.
I'll admit, it was hard sitting here, eating what you were throwing in front of me, with the smack talk saying, "Well, I don't think Brutal's as prepared as Bay for this. I don't think he's gonna be ready for what's to come." Well, who's not ready now?
There it is. Brutal's right. I mean, we cannot deny that, you know?
I'm
I thought
very
going
impressed,
in, this
yeah.
would easily, as far as prep work and preparation, would go to Bay, but I completely stand corrected. The Horde doing a fantastic job, 3-0, as we head to Onyxia's lair.
Although do keep in mind that there are 7 instances for us to get through this afternoon, and we have only seen 3 of them. And this is only one of 3 afternoons that we're going to be doing this. So Bay has a lot of time to catch up. This is by no means over yet. We are just in like the first stretch of the first lap with regard to this race.
In regards to Onyxia, this was a, back in the day, major attunement. You want to talk attunements, people? Onyxia had an attunement. It was a pretty major thing, kind of started out, and then now, of course, when they reintroduced the boss, that attunement thing went away. What was also interesting, too, was you had to kill Onyxia to get scales.
Why did I do this?
You would use those scales
Why did I
to
do
make
this?
a cloak. And you had
looking
to
at the
have that
next
cloak
raid.
to fight Nefarian, who they pretty much one-shot nowadays. Nefarian had an ability called Shadow Flame, I believe it was, that would pretty much wipe or kill anyone unless you had this Onyxian cloak. So that was a thing where you had to grind out Onyxia. And also keep in mind, this is way back in the day. This is in classic WoW, where bosses would take 3 to 4 months before somebody got it down. The top raiders at that time were fighting Onyxia. That was Scott Mercer, I believe, designed the fight. And it took 3-4 months before anybody ever killed her. You know, nowadays, you know, with these world first races, you see these bosses going down like immediately. You know what I mean? The same day, in a week or 2. But back then, man, it was about 3 to 4 months to get some of these major bosses down.
Yep, absolutely. Well, the raiding community was a bit of a different place at that time. We didn't have the structure or the organization or I mean, in some ways, the free time and the determination that these guys have now when they're attacking these bosses. But the Onyxia is just a fight that created tons of memories.
Be sure you have heroic toggled from now on, Ryan.
I believe it's already on, but let me double check. Oh,
We're getting into the heroic era of stuff, yep.
Indeed, indeed.
Now, also keep in mind, too, some are saying that raiders over the years have gotten better, gotten smarter. I completely agree with that. I think that raiders have gotten used to these types of mechanics. Stuff like don't stand in the fire, it seems such an easy, obvious thing nowadays, but back then, raiders, that was like, oh, that was a big deal. Got a DPS, but not stand in the fire. So I think over the years, raiders have gotten a lot more experience, and I think it's caused these raid instances to become a lot more complex and difficult as the years have gone on. They were definitely a bit simpler back in the day, some of the fights.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a fight these days, you see a fight, and there are probably 20 people in your raid who are going to name 3 or 4 different bosses that they've seen before that have very similar mechanics. Whereas at this time, when you hit something like Onyxia, I mean, this was completely new to the people who were seeing it. Like, sure, you might have seen some bosses that did stuff like that, like back in EverQuest, but this was all new. WoW was pretty much paving the road.
Yeah, and also, too, Onyxia taking off into the air. Everybody was blown away. Oh, she's going into the air? Like phase 2? Like, what is this? Like, everybody would go crazy. So you're absolutely right. I think WoW, World of Warcraft, actually has led the way on a lot of things, not just with raiding and mechanics, stuff like Group Finder. A lot of the things that we see nowadays in all popular MMOs actually started here in World of Warcraft. Now, a lot of things were based, of course, from WoW, from EverQuest and all that, but they've actually been kind of a leader in new mechanics and new things that we now have come to expect in MMOs nowadays.
There's no heroic for Onyxia, is this what I'm being told?
Yes, there is. What are you talking about?
I don't think that there's a normal mode and a heroic mode for Onyxia. I thought you just went in there and
it doesn't
killed her.
go. Oh, which is okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just go in there and kill her. Because she got redone. This is the redone Onyxia.
You're right. She was
This was
before
a
heroics
level 80.
happened during Wrath. Sorry.
Yeah, wasn't this Wrath? This was level 80 stuff, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the redone fight. But yeah, I mean, it's less about time necessarily and more about the size and the education and the communication of the raid community. There are more people devoting more time in a more organized manner, I think, to getting these bosses down in what is almost a very professional way. And I'm not sure that the raid community was exactly the same this long ago.
Babe, we're all here at the zone, and we're only 24 manning this because one person was
Same
saved.
thing for me, sir. Same thing for
Okay.
me.
I was gonna say,
We're
what's
zoning
that?
in now,
Sounds
yeah.
Good.
Very fair.
So we're at zoning, so just tell us when to rock and roll, baby.
Oh, I'm walking down before the trash. Just go down the ramp or whatever. Go down around the corner.
Oh,
So when
we're
you
gonna
start,
zone.
you're on
Why
the-
do you
you're on
always
the
start
now.
farther than the zoning? Dag nabbit, man.
Oh, what do you mean? Like, I'm starting where you usually start a raid at. That's what I thought we were doing. Like when you start Black
well-
Temple, you start at the Ashen God, and you start on Nixie, you walk
Yeah,
down before the
well, I
first
mean,
trash bowl.
really, I guess if you're gonna get technical, you start when you zone in.
Oh
so
my
that's-
gosh,
I figure that's
Muffin.
where we would be.
If you walk away from the
I mean-
portal, though, you make sure everyone's in range of you. If you're in the portal, you might see someone in range, but they're still zoning. That's why.
We see cheers here for the Alliance and for
Yes,
the
we-
Horde. Come on, chat. Tell us who you want to have win this one.
Yes.
It's not going to be a very long race.
Nope,
This will be a very
quick
close
one.
one. Very close. It's going to be
All
very
right.
important for them to start simultaneously.
I guess I'm in the right area. I guess you guys can tell me we're screen sharing.
Also, a big shout out to yeah, Anna. What do you say? Are they in the same spot here? Let's
They
find
look
out.
like they very much look like they're in the same spot to me.
I'll wait.
I'm,
right
I'm
here.
looking at the same
Yeah.
trash on both screens, and the same trash
Okay.
appears to be in the same spot. I think we need another Koltrane countdown for this one when Bay puts up the timer.
I think you're right. We'll do a DBM countdown when Bay puts up the timer.
All right, I'm seeing the responses in chat from what I just said. It looks like we've got some cheers for the Horde. We've got for the Alliance. Go Horde, death to the pink skins. Horde is going to smash Alliance scum. Alliance is
More
always
feathers.
the best. All right, I guess we'll see. We'll see who brings it home for all their supporters today.
We saw
Bay
some
is doing
zoning
some
issues.
quick summoning.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had two people
Sarcast
that-
Heart, I don't know if we can do that. Make the bet. Whoever loses shaves their beard. That's
No.
not happening.
I-
I don't know if either one
I
of
have
these
com-
boys would agree to that.
I have
All right, Ryan,
complete
you ready?
confidence I'm gonna whoop some butt, but I'm not shaving this no matter what. Yeah, I'm ready, buddy.
Alrighty, so pull in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. And it's on.
And they are off. Look
I
at
had
those
one
feathers
person-
on the ground.
I had one person take a Demon Gate too soon, but I hope you won't hold that against me.
I think it was only one I saw that happen too. I don't think it's a huge deal. It was one person and it was pretty much
It
on
was
one.
me.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Smart of the
That one person was you. I see.
No, I'm
I sprinted with Ghost Wolf and with feathers, so you know, hey, there's that.
okay.
All right, here we go.
We've engaged
Wow.
Onyxia. I'm not even in range yet. Any moment now
Alliance
she'll
and
be
Horde
dead.
have both engaged Onyxia.
Any
Alliance,
moment
I
now.
believe, slightly ahead.
Oh, this
And-
is going to be close. This
Oh
is
wait,
going
no.
to be close.
She has to RP.
She has to RP.
Yeah, she's got some. That's that's the biggest time sink in these old raids is the
So
RP.
dumb.
Oh, range dropping the deeps. More dots. Many whelps handle it. Yeah, many whelps on the Horde
Yep,
side.
RP is a factor.
We got to be watching this to see who wins. My goodness.
This is going to be close. This is
Although
going to
we
be
have
really close.
judges in each one, and DBM says how long it takes you to kill.
And
Onyxia is down. I think it goes to the Alliance.
that goes
35
to the
seconds.
Alliance. Very nice.
We got to
I
check
think
with
that
the
win goes
judges.
to Bay.
It's a photo finish, but I think
Yeah, that is a photo finish. It could be.
I think
it
this
could be
went
either
to Bay.
team.
We're waiting to hear back from the judges. Yes, yes. All right, we're waiting on a time. We are waiting on a time from the judges. It looked on my screen, Anna, that it went to Bay. What were you seeing?
That is definitely what I thought as well. I think it did go to Bay as well. I was moving my windows around to make sure that I could see both of them at the same time.
I think I can afford up to 3 or 4 seconds.
Wow.
I
Yes.
think I'll be okay.
They did, yeah, many whelps. They did handle it, although I don't know if we actually saw the whelps in that. we should have assigned one person in each raid to run into the eggs.
All right, we're going to have to check this document here. So a big shout out to OpenRaid.org, not only for helping to set this up, but they are also actually keeping
absolutely.
track of the time, of the timers. There was someone in each group keeping track of all the timers, finding out exactly who won and by how much. So big shout out to OpenRaid.org.
Thank you, OpenRaid.
Yeah, they are a very, very organized group and definitely have done a lot of great things for the community over the last few years. So I definitely encourage everyone who's watching to take advantage of OpenRaid. I mean, for anything that you want to get done before the next expansion starts up. I was actually thinking about going on there to get my challenge modes done on my Horde character, so.
Absolutely. So do we have, where's the, do you have that document? Do we have an official time? Do we have an official winner? Still waiting to hear from the judges.
The judges may still be consulting.
Waiting to hear from the judges. It's still, it should be in the doc. It's all updated already.
I don't
Is
have
it in
the
the same
doc.
doc?
It's the same. It's right there in chat.
Chat is long, bae. Chat is long.
No, in our chat, in Skype chat.
No, I don't have the chat. I've got the old one. Can you relink her?
I'm looking at our schedule, the one that you and I put together. Well, but
Right,
while
that's
you
the
look,
only one that I've got.
while you look for that, we can talk about this next place that we're going here, ICC.
Here we go, real quick. I've got it actually in front of me here. It's looking like on Onyxia's lair, the Alliance time was 59 seconds. The Horde time, 1 minute and 3 seconds.
All right, and victory
It goes to the
today.
Alliance.
Curses!
The Alliance has
Very
pulled it
well
out.
done.
That's awesome.
Very well done.
Very well done. Also, as far as deaths go, this is kind of interesting. The Alliance currently only has 18 deaths. The Horde has 25. That would be the immediate
I thought
wipe.
They wiped. I thought
No, they
wiped
didn't.
everyone.
We didn't have
Not all
everyone in
members.
the zone.
Oh, interesting.
Not everyone wiped. So as far as EPeen points go, currently Alliance ahead.
Oh, definitely.
We're gonna
and that's
start
consistent
ICC
with real life as well.
We're gonna start ICC at our heroes, Ryan. So start
And I
at
do
your
see
heroes.
questions here. I do see
Yeah,
questions
we're-
here in the chat about whether this is going up on YouTube later. This will be on YouTube. Not sure when. Generally, with the final boss, it takes about 24 hours for us to get them up there, but you can expect them probably Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, since there is no actual show tomorrow due to scheduling this and just everything else, this will be up on YouTube tomorrow for me. Yeah.
Yep, so all of you guys who think you won't be able to make the whole thing, if you want to catch anything that you've missed, you can check it out on YouTube. We'll all be retweeting it.
Absolutely. Now, Ice Crown Citadel. Ooh, baby, here we go. Ice Crown, the final raid instance in Wrath of the Lich King. It is the final boss, is none other than himself, the King Arthas, the Lich King himself. The final boss, Lich King Ice Crown Citadel. This was a big expansion for a lot of raiders. A lot of people that I talked to started in Wrath. And Anna, is that when you started?
Yes, I did start in Wrath, but I started before this instance, so I had raided before this time, but I definitely have a lot of fond memories of this zone, and a lot of not so fond memories of this zone.
Right. Ice Crown Citadel was an incredible thing. It truly felt like you were just going up, just killing these bosses on your way for that great epic fight, Lich King, which to this day is still considered one of the best raiding counters.
Here is a
of all
question
of
for you, Ryan.
Definitely.
Yeah, buddy.
Would you like to deactivate
Yes, that's actually
The
a good call.
buff.
Let's deactivate the buff.
deactivate
Yeah,
the zone
deactivate
buff?
the
All right.
buff.
I would say
Yes, this was actually
deactivate.
one of the first times that Blizzard implemented a zone-wide buff that nerfed the instance as the expansion went on. It's also the time that most of us remember as being one of the longest times we had to wait for new content, which is something that happened in Dragon's Soul and is happening again right now. So it's a little bit of nostalgia for me to see this instance and remember how long we spent in there. Oh my goodness, back in the day, 2009, 2010.
Right, and speaking of this buff, the way it worked was, originally you had the fight as you're about to see it now, well, except with level 90s. But then what they would do is there would be a buff that would nerf the content by like 5%. And then every, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, something like that, they would increase that 5% to 10%, and then to 15%. And I believe we didn't actually see a Lich King kill until that first 5% debuff.
That is correct. That
the
is
raid.
correct. The first Lich King kill, he was overtuned. Well, what happened, if I remember it correctly, is that they released him undertuned, freaked out when they saw the first guilds hitting him, and then pumped his HP up, and they pumped it up too far, and so we didn't see a kill until the 5% buff went in. Now the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory of this time is not entirely accurate, but I distinctly remember that something along those lines went out.
And there was some controversy too, I believe, on those first few kills. There was something, I can't remember the story, but there was a rogue using Serenite bombs, I believe, that kind of bugged the ledge there or something like that. So a little bit of controversy on some of the first kills of the Lich King back in the day. I'm trying to remember what the name of the raid team was. I think it started
well,
with...
I mean, that's consistent whenever you see these top guilds hit fights. They're going to be taking every advantage they possibly can to kill the fights, and not all of them will be taking only the advantages that they think are within the rules of the game. Some of them stretch as many as possible.
Right. Insidia, yes, that's what it was. It was Insidia. At that time, there was some
inside.
controversy that when you used a Serenite bomb, it actually rebuilt the ledge. So
Yes.
these little dudes would pick you up and carry the Valkyries. But since the ledge was rebuilt due to this bomb, it would drop you right back onto the ledge. So it was, you could pretty much ignore that mechanic and continue to DPS the Lich King.
Yeah, one of the other things that people talk about with regard to this instance is what a difficulty ramp there was between all of the bosses up to the Lich King and then the Lich King, because the heroic modes up to the Lich King were in general much less difficult than the Lich King by a pretty large margin. And that's something that has been proved in later raid tiers, but the Lich King himself was just a great deal more difficult than anything before. There were a couple of fights that were still a pretty good challenge before him, but he was just a very large percentage of the time that anyone spent in this zone working on these hard modes.
Absolutely. And this was also another raid zone where you had a choice. It was not a linear progression. You could choose to fight certain bosses to go down a certain hall. You could go left or you could go right. That seemed to be a pretty popular choice because if one particular raid comp or group had difficulty with one boss or one wing, they could kill another wing, get some gear, and then go back to that old one that they couldn't finish.
We have a DC, Ryan, but are you at your guys yet?
We're good, but I don't want to start unless you're completely comfortable and ready.
Oh,
Well, chat is kind of going crazy in both windows over what you said there, Koltrane, so I should say the other side here. It is being argued that the Serenite bombs were in a rogue's regular rotation at the time.
That's
and
correct.
that the guild pretty much had the fight with the buff, with the bug before the buff came into the instance. So, I mean, there are two sides to every story. I know
That's
that,
right.
that at that time it was something that was a pretty big controversy, but it was only a controversy because there were people who believed each side. You know, if everybody thought that they were cheating or if everybody thought that they were completely legit, then there wouldn't have been a controversy at all.
That's true. That's what makes controversy. No, but that's true. And that's right. The Serenite bombs were part of the rogue's rotation then. It was another way to get an extra ounce of
doing a
DPS.
swap real quick for a DC, Ryan.
No problem.
So that player
Yeah,
was
we
just
did
doing
that
his
on
regular rotation. It just had a side effect of this. So you're right. There were two sides to both of that story, and
We've
that's the
definitely
rub.
we've used bombs on progression encounters. I remember using grenades on Shafir. Yeah.
The issue with the grenade thing, while
remember
we
that.
sit here a little bit while we riff on this stuff, is that, yes, it was in the rogue's rotation. The problem is that when they did it, they didn't stop doing it.
Yeah, when they saw that it had an unintended effect. But I mean, this is all ancient history. This is all stuff that happened way back when. You know, we don't know what was going through their head. We just know what happened.
But it is kind of fun to see this chat room because these are obviously players that were there back in Wrath, back in the day, and it still gets everybody fired up. That's what's exciting, man, the passion that all of these raiders have. And these players obviously have been raiding for a long time. You know, these people that are adding to this chat room, discussing, you know, both sides of it. They were there and they were fired up and they still are today. So that's really neat. That's a good thing about World of Warcraft, man. A lot of these players, including myself, have stuck around. They continue to play. And they were here back then, and they continue to be here today. So it's really great seeing some old school love from back in the day.
And it really proves what an exciting thing it is to be part of the raiding community, because a lot of us, even if we weren't raiding at that level at that time, or if we were raiding at that level at that time, watched the race and watched all of this controversy and gave our opinions about what we thought happened, and basically cared. We cared about who won. And that's one of the things that I think is so exciting about raiding, and why I think we have so many people who watch our show and watch WoW streams and get really involved in these things, because we care. We care about the race and the people, and we think it's fun.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing too that these raid teams have they've become celebrities. these teams. You know what I mean? These are known raid teams, and they are celebrities in the World of Warcraft community. You actually root for them, you cheer for them, and you watch those updates on those websites to see who won and who eked it out, and it's great. It's a great thing. That's something that's definitely developed over the years, and I think we're all happy that it did.
Yep. Yeah, this instance definitely contains a whole lot of stuff that I think really is...
All right, are you ready, Ryan?
It's much more relevant to the raids that we see today.
We just had to wait for the last swap, and it was summoning and stuff, yeah? So you good?
My buff is deactivated. Can you confirm the same?
My buff is deactivated. I talked to Rin.
Okay. We are just behind High Lord Tyrion Fordring.
Yeah, we're all glumped around and we're dancing. Actually went through a party bomb. So you ready to go?
Oh, nice, nice. I'm ready, brother.
All right, starting in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's on. Here we go. Ice Crown Citadel.
See, now it'll be really interesting to see what paths they take, because just like before, this is going to be a zone where the different teams can kill bosses in different orders. So we'll have to make sure that we watch and see where the different teams are.
Oh my gosh, and here we go. Both teams rushing up for good old Lord Marrowgar. Bone Storm! How many times did we hear that, right?
That fight was so dumb. I'm sorry. I had to take this fight. Was this a 3-tank fight? Yeah.
The Marrowgar fight.
Yeah.
All right, looks like Alliance pulls ahead, downing Marrowgar first by just seconds. Did the axe drop? Always wanted that axe. He's got an amazing transmog axe.
He does. That was a very attractive axe that he dropped.
Bone Storm. That was an amazing boss that when you walked into the raid instance, you saw him in the back of the room, and it was just cool. You're clearing trash, you're working your way on up, and there he is. Coolest thing ever. All right, they are heading up to Lady Death Whisper.
Oof, the FPS.
Here we go. Both teams pulling.
Trash wave fight. One of the fights people quote as being just waves of trash. I remember that I really liked the threat mechanic that she had on the tanks. It made the fight at least a little bit more interesting.
What was the threat mechanic?
I believe it was something like the threat that you dealt against the boss would decrease more and more, and so then you basically had to trade on and off. But you also, when you traded, you had to go out and pick up the ads that were spawning on the sides. So it wasn't a very difficult fight, but it was at least one that was mildly interesting.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, both teams getting on the platform. Boy, they are neck and neck here.
The original gunship is coming up here. This is
Now,
the fight that...
I would argue again, you do not want to start your gunship until all your raiders are on the boat, Ryan.
I told him most. Are we doing an official they all have to be on it?
It is a team effort, sir, but I guess the Horde doesn't care about team spirit very much.
I care about winning.
Exactly. You don't give a shit about team spirit.
He is the Horde,
Oh my
after
goodness.
all.
No one of the Horde has made
yes,
the most
indeed.
bad guys.
Yes, this was the loot ship, is what everyone called it. Definitely very buggable as well. I remember that we definitely had trouble with invisible mobs, and we also had trouble with feign deaths and whatever it is that rogues do, bugging this boss out.
Yes. And for those that haven't seen this fight, the idea here is the Horde and Alliance are getting on an actual airship, and they are flying up to the next level to take on the Lich King. While doing so, the opposing faction sees them in the air, and they start to engage each other. So this is literally the Horde versus the Alliance here. We're going to be seeing these two gunships going head to head.
We only left one man behind. All right, we're good. No one cares about that one paladin, right? All right, good. Let's go.
Yeah, so the 9th Chevron brings up, so what about the minute and a half that Horde just loses to RP? Now, I'm not actually sure about this because I have only seen this instance from the Alliance side.
You can leave. You don't have to sit there and listen to SRP.
Okay, so you don't have to actually sit there and listen to all that Horde RP? Because I thought that the RP was prior to Sourfang.
The door opens.
No, so there's
But he
RP
does RP before he
Sourfang.
engages.
There's RP for us too.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, the dwarves aggro and like rawr and butts and stuff. Yeah, the Horde Alliance did the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. It's a good question.
See now, unlike the Horde, the Alliance has no man left behind, so we have everyone on the boat. So.
Oh wait, so do we. I lied. That's weird.
I don't know about that.
His name's Grayson. You can see he is within range of my raid frames, right here, bottom right-hand corner. Grayson. Not sure how we got on the ship. All right.
All right, it looks like the Alliance Alliance is engaged on the loot ship, the gunship battle. Here we go. The idea for this fight was you actually jump onto the opposing faction's ship, DPS those adds, and then get back. All the while avoiding stuff on the ground, I believe. And there's also a thing too where what they would do is the opposing faction would freeze your guns. Their little frost mage would come out. You would jump over to the other side, kill that frost mage to release your guns so you could continue to DPS the opposing faction ship.
Now, I don't remember. You're going to have to remind me. Is this the fight where you died if you jumped off the ship, or is the other gunship the one that actually saved your life when you jumped off the ship?
No, you can. If you jump off, you die.
You could actually die.
Real quick, I'm getting reports from both my raid chat and Twitch chat that the RP is shorter for Alliance leading up to Sarfang.
Well,
I guess we'll see. We'll compare them.
Well, should we do a pause then? Should we everyone start at the same time?
Yeah,
Maybe we do that.
Our mods could perhaps time the RP and figure out what the exact difference is.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out.
It's probably not excruciatingly longer, but you do have Sarfangs.
It's about a minute longer, they say.
Yeah, I always wanted to see that story from the Horde side because I know it's much more epic to have this like story of his father instead of just like, oh, it's another boss that we're gonna kill. Okay.
It was pretty legit.
It was something like his name was Dranosh.
Yep.
Or something like that. Dranosh. That's right. Let me wash his body or something like that. I don't remember what. He wasn't happy.
No,
come on.
That's what he says.
Yeah, that's what he says.
It's something like that.
Yeah, it is.
My goodness.
Ugh, Muradin, your stumpy short legs. Move it! God, Muradin's so slow.
The Horde side starting up their RP. Alliance.
So we're marking when our gunship died, and we'll compare the time it takes for your RP to end. We'll take off the difference because I know there's a bunch of RP for us, but we skipped the end RP. I guess there's more RP in the beginning because is Sarafang talking to his son?
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Yeah, I know there's RP after it that you can skip, but no one ever watched that. It's the stuff that comes before that's going to be the problem.
Yeah, like the RP with Jaina and Rin will still be going on when we're like on Arthas. It takes so long. They talk for like 3 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
It's so bad.
Currently, his dad upset that his son did not take out the trash on Tuesday. A little bit of RP there. I will say there's a part of me that thinks that we should kind of pause just so it's so more interesting to the viewers, so you guys are both still neck and neck, you know what I mean? But that's just me.
But we can pause after the we could pause after the we can pause on the stairwell because we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, because Alliance is done and Horde is still doing RP.
Yeah, definitely. I would say we pause so that the race is more exciting. What was the difference between when they hit Sourfang, though? Before the RP? Who started Sourfang first? I wasn't looking at chat and not the screen.
That I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure the mods can work it out.
They were still pretty much neck and neck. Like, it was a difference of about 5 to 6 seconds.
We're pausing the Valkyr hallway.
Uh-oh, looks like Horde has blown a bloodlust. That is no good.
Yeah, when they shouldn't have.
That is no good. Horde might be in trouble here. Oh boy, because they're going to have that bloodlust debuff. So is everybody going to pause here? Come back, Horde. Go back to that entrance.
Once they zone at the door, we're going. Because then we're even again.
Okay.
So let me know when
we should probably do a countdown.
I think we had a saboteur. I think we had a saboteur. I had a mage pop bloodlust when he shouldn't have.
Tell me when you walk through the ice, Ryan.
What? We're fighting mob.
Yeah, we're going to have to pause again here. Because what happened is the Alliance stopped to wait and Horde kept kind of going.
Man, your honor is totally garbage, Ryan. What the?
Guys, what are we talking about?
I said we're waiting at the Valkyr for you.
I didn't hear. We were fighting Sarkman.
Oh, my ass. I mean, our timer didn't stop, so.
QQ harder.
All right, hopefully.
Your honor is totally garbage.
Okay, well, here's an idea. Here's an idea. Let me throw this at you. What if we both stop at whatever boss before you pull, whatever boss you're about to fight?
No, that won't work right now. No.
Okay.
Now let's just have them keep going.
All right.
The OP guys, OpenRaid guys will figure it out.
Because I think Brutall had about a 30-second head start.
Yeah, Smooshy said she's on it.
She's on it.
All right. Okay, good. Oh yeah, those OpenRaid guys are all over it. They're fine.
You gotta understand now, in the chat room, you can't be upset with Brutall here. He is the Horde.
That's right.
All right? He is the Horde.
I think that I can be very upset with him anyway.
That freaking alarm. Oh, the alarm. Oh, butts.
All right, here we go. So it looks like both sides are heading down different halls here. Alliance about to engage. Fester Gut.
I remember this fight.
This is the guy that farts a lot.
He is the guy that farts a lot. Doesn't he also buff the tank?
Did we just...
Oh, that's... Yeah, that is
I have
Mr. Gut.
entered an
He's the
instance
tank
already
buff
in
fight.
progress? I don't know what this is. but
Don't hit
sure.
accept. Don't hit accept. Oh, well,
But
I don't know.
I'll be kicked out if I don't.
6 out of 12.
You're the leader, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's when you're killing other bosses out of
weird.
order.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay, then your both sides are okay. Hit and accept. Okay. Fester Gut. He farts, puts stuff on the ground. This was quite the fight back in the day. Lots
Oh
of
yeah,
disgusting
and
audio.
this was one of the huge tank damage fights. It was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Mhm.
I really liked it. And if you exploded if you took too many, so it was really fun if you got it wrong. Loved it.
So it looks to be that Bay with the Alliance headed down the Plagueworks Hall. And it looks like Brutall has chosen the Frostwing Hall, starting here with Valithra Dreamwalker.
What the?
Oh, we had someone fall. Hope they have a slow fall or whatever. Oh yeah, they do. They're good.
They
good.
do.
My
All
favorite
right.
part
They're
about
good.
Putricide was that the chat's getting all excited and quoting Putricide now. Favorite part about that fight was hearing it in the voice of the professor from Futurama. Good news, everyone.
That was Nobble's when someone subbed to him was always the good news, everyone, and he would always say it in his
that's-
weird Dutch voice, and it was the best ever. But he turned it off.
Whoa, weird Dutch voice.
I love it. The way he would like try to do the professor's voice with his accent was just totes adorbs. Totes adorbs.
So it appears that the teams here, Brutall has also split up his raid team. He's got one section of them engaging Putricide while he himself is heading down Frostwing. Let's see if Bay is doing the same strat.
Sure does look like it from here. Looking at the raid frames, it does look like they are split. That's definitely the way to go about this for the best time.
This is great. This is some good organization from both teams, and we've engaged Putricide. Boy, yeah, this is a classic fight. So during this fight, he actually drinks more potions, gets more big and ugly as the fight goes on. But at this level, I wonder how much of it we're actually going to see.
Now, I did like Putricide. I know I said earlier that the Lich King was exponentially the hardest heroic fight in the zone, but I was personally a big fan of Putricide as well. I know he had that mechanic where you had a poison on you, and then you had to go stand next to one person to pass the poison along, and it was just this like insane coordination that you had to do. It was pretty much the only difficult part of that fight, but it was still it was a fun mechanic. I liked
And
it.
it was great too. At the end of the fight, I think the whole room would kind of fill with that kind of slime, and it was that kind of
Right.
like soft enrage mechanic where you were literally like, we need to kill him now because the entire floor is covered in goo. Oh boy.
Yep.
Now here we go
Definitely
on
a
Brutall
sense of
stream.
urgency.
Oh boy, engaging Syndragosa.
Good
well,
thing
not yet.
the sound
not yet.
is off.
Yes, thankfully the sound is off. What was that classic quote, Anna?
Your magic has betrayed you.
Yes, betrays you.
Betrays you. So bad.
Yes.
I don't
this-
know what voice actor they got to do that. Maybe it was Chris Metzen doing a falsetto. I don't know.
Right. Syndragosa is one of those famous fights where a lot of raid teams wiped, and you just heard this one audio file again and again and again. It was just great. Your pathetic magic betrays you. Yes.
So,
Oh my
so to
gosh,
those
it
in
was
chat
so
that are
bad.
curious, that are just here and don't know about what there's the next Saturday and the Saturday after that, we also have more races. This is a 3-day event. Today is just 7 of the many, many races. So there is more on the 27th and more on the 4th.
That's
Indeed.
right. This is just part 1. Another interesting mechanic about that Syndragosa fight, one raider could wipe the entire group. She would cast this kind of frozen thing on that one character, and if they were standing near other raiders, they also would be frozen in ice. So that was a big thing, similar to like a Lei Shen type fight, where one guy could literally wipe the entire group.
Yep, it's something that we saw again in Tier 14 with which boss has the Holding Hands achievement? Starts with an H. You guys know which one I'm talking about, but this like chaining ice block mechanic it was really great because it required a sense of personal responsibility, but also spatial awareness, not just of where you are, but where everyone else is. And it made wipes just look really epic when someone just really screwed it up.
Soul Martag in the chat room saying that only 2 on 10 man, 4 on 25 could get ice blocked, but I thought it was, I could have sworn I saw more than just 2.
Hagara is the achievement you're talking about, Emma.
Hagara is the achievement boss, thank you.
We're all at Lich King. We just started the RP for Lich.
Okay.
Yep, and
Now,
it looks like they are through Valithra.
On the Alliance side. Now
Yep.
keep in mind, for those watching the multi-Twitch, don't look at the screen as far as to find out who's in the lead. That's actually going to be determined by timer,
Right.
thanks to our judges in OpenRaid. So even though the Horde is ahead, it's actually going to be about the timer in this particular instance.
Everything is timed and added up cumulatively, so it doesn't actually matter who's physically ahead. It depends on how fast everything gets done. Because there's difference in start time, so with that.
Yes, the W shape, lol.com, that was definitely the strat. I remember that too. I think it had to be 5 on 25. We definitely made a W. I remember that was the strat.
Was that for
Otherwise-
Syndragosa?
Yeah, for Syndragosa. Although I also experimented with, we had a strat where we like consistently turned the boss. It was just, fight was nuts. It was silly.
Horde engaging Lich
Yep,
King?
yeah, in before mass shadow trap wipes. See how big of a defile we can maybe put on the ground here.
Right. Now this was an incredible fight.
And dead. All right, he's good.
Holy
Less
cow.
incredible if you had really bad latency. This was one of the fights that people complained about that was just harder on people with worse connections to WoW, because the reaction time that you had to have to get out of defile was shorter and shorter the higher and higher your latency was.
Yes,
So-
and just to speak of Defile, this was an ability that he would cast on one raid member, and you would put a black pool at your feet. If other people were near you and they touched you or within your area, that black pool of death would spread.
Yeah.
So if you got Defile cast on you, you had to get away from everyone else immediately, or else it would hit all of your raiders and it'd cover the whole room and everybody would wipe. Another mechanic that one person could actually wipe the entire group. And for some of us, that meant that you really hoped that one particular raider didn't get Defile cast on them.
Most certainly.
Lich King was an amazing fight. A lot of people really have a lot of fond memories. Some of the top fights listed, Lich King is usually one of them, along with Mimiron, a couple others. But Lich
Alone
King
in
was
the Darkness, yep, Goldwing says.
Yes. Absolutely. Some nice RP here. People seem to be very satisfied with this. Lich King, main boss of the expansion. Fantastic fight at the end. Fantastic RP at the end. A great end to this expansion and to this story.
We had a boss after this, don't forget.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one of the things that made Lich King so epic, besides the fact that it was one of the best raid encounters ever designed, was also the fact that you saw the Lich King throughout the entire expansion, up until the point that you fought him. I know that the devs said that they think that maybe they put a little too much Lich King into Wrath of the Lich King, where it was like he was just jumping out of every closet at you.
But we got to
he was
Cataclysm though, and like
everywhere.
we got to Deathwing, and you're like you didn't really feel like you pressed him a little bit, and then that was it.
Who is he again?
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
the worst was really like, and I think the lesson they learned with Illidan in Burning Crusade, you barely saw him, and he was only in that raid instance. So the idea was, let's see the Lich King more throughout. And you're right, he would show up everywhere. He'd be in the dungeons, he'd be in your closet, you'd go to the inn, he's like, hey, what's up? I'm Lich King. Like, he was always there. So, but it was good. I liked
on
it.
the end boss.
Much more interaction with Lich King, which was great.
Yeah, very much so. Comparing it especially to Deathwing, like Base said, there's a huge difference in just the weight of that end boss on the storyline of the entire expansion.
Now these timers are going to stop when he actually falls over dead, and then the loot is made available. That's when the timer is going to stop for each. So Horde has killed Lich King. Alliance is wrapping up now, and we will consult with our judges and check the timers. They are ready to find out who actually won
Oh, it was Horde.
Ice Crown Citadel.
It was Horde.
No, see, I think Horde should lose some because I think it's pretty legit to penalize them for picking the wrong faction. I think that they should just lose.
Wow! There's some bias from Anna.
Wow.
I don't know, baby.
How
Come on.
dare you.
Back me up here.
How dare you?
Well, technically, the Horde wouldn't even exist if the Alliance didn't let them exist. So I mean, hey.
Oh, all right.
There you
boss.
go.
So on the Lich King RP, it's a flat 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure we don't have to add it to the time. We leave it or add it, doesn't matter. It's even RP for no matter who. It's 2 minutes of talking, so it's the same regardless. But
I just remember this being one of the most epic moments for me, and I'm sure chat's going to tell me I'm wrong and make fun of me and stuff. But this was one of the most epic moments that I've had playing this game. Was when you all die, and then you get this message that Tyrion Menethil, right, wants to resurrect you.
Right.
And clicking OK, and then you get resurrected. And that was just like, I love those moments where the game mechanics are used to make a story point. It was just, I thought that was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Everybody got chills the first, second, and third time they did this. Because all the RP, and then he throws this thing, you're like, oh my gosh. Then he wounds him, and everyone gets rezzed. And oh, that was a great moment.
Hey, you
That
know
was a
what?
great moment.
Can I get the attention of both chat rooms, please? And can we have a huge shout out and thank you directed toward Koltrane and Anna for being willing to spend a Saturday afternoon commentating such an awesome event. Also, we need to give some love to OpenRaid for letting us organize, or for helping us organize and letting us use their website and promoting it.
Yeah.
And of course, a huge shout out to Bay for being an awesome participant and for being a good sport as he loses so many fights in races time and time again.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Huge shout out and huge amounts of love to everyone involved. You guys are all awesome.
Woo!
We didn't get a res from.
Yeah, we didn't either. I had a match res
So
afterward.
good.
Didn't even get a res. He's like,
Did you guys all
fine.
click cancel or something?
Right.
No, we just
Okay,
didn't get a
so-
res from Tyrannus.
No, this is really fun. I'm glad to have been invited, and it looks like chat's really enjoying it, and I appreciate
hope
all
so.
of the all
a
of
ton of
the
fun.
activity we've got here.
This is so exciting. So right now, judges are tallying the results to find out who won Ice Crown Citadel. Now, the Horde has been dominating at the front half, but then the Alliance came back in Onyxia's lair, beating him
4
by
seconds.
by 4 seconds, just
Then
mere
4
seconds. By 4 seconds. Oh my gosh, the Alliance defeated the Horde by 4 seconds. Now,
By
So-
4 seconds, the skin of their teeth.
that's right. So far, in Ice Crown Citadel, both sides encountered 12 deaths. 12 deaths by both sides.
Wow. Okay.
They both lost 12.
Now, do the raiders know that they have to be careful? Have you guys communicated the whole death thing to your raids, Bay and Brutall?
Yeah, well,
Nope.
our deaths so far
no.
have been because of Razorgore and stuff like that, but no one should want to die. There is the death thing doesn't mean anything other than just EPing, but it really only matters certain instances, like mostly. So raid week 2, I would argue, is the hardest raid week. So next Saturday has multiple encounters where there are just death mechanics. So
Death to all.
Anna, would you mind linking the multi-Twitch in chat, in both chat rooms?
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm also giving UB Gamer the ability to link some OpenRaid stuff. So
Great.
everybody should look at that in the Final Boss chat. Let me get this multi-Twitch put up again.
So now the Horde should be flying from Undercity to Bastion of Twilight, and the Alliance is flying from Stormwind to Bastion of Twilight. Correct?
Yeah, we just zoned into BOT.
Yeah, we're flying
Or I did,
across
I
the
should say.
zones.
We're getting another request for a quick fortune cookie while we wait for the judges to tally the results. Fortune cookies say, a group of Tauren running across Mulgore are called Steaks on a Plane. Huh? Steaks on a plane. What do you think, huh?
Oh man,
Yes, no, maybe so.
how did we get stuck with you?
Yes. The glory.
You people asking him for these fortune cookies.
Hey, I just, that's what they want. I'm sorry. I have to
Give
do
the
it.
people what they
It's
want.
not my
all
choice.
right. I'll blame chat. I'll blame chat on this one. So we are going to definitely an instance that I remember pretty well. The Bastion of Twilight. I know that I really liked the tone of this zone. Just the feel of the zone was very, very Twilight Highlands-esque. I just liked it.
Yeah, I was a big fan of BOT back when we were progressing. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I liked every single fight in it, but I did really like this
10-10
zone.
jokes.
I think we farmed it a little bit too much for that trinket, because we farmed Bastion of Twilight way longer than we should have. We put a trinket on every mage and on every healer.
Wow,
And on
for
every
Sinestro?
healer, so yeah. 4
Yeah, we,
mages and our entire healing team.
I don't think we took it that far. The only fight I didn't like in here was V&T, Valonian, Thralian, or whatever the names are.
Yeah.
That was the only fight I didn't really thoroughly enjoy. Well, we have 24, 25 raiders in the zone bay.
Well, this is the tier that I would have said was my favorite tier of raiding before we had tier 14. I thought tier 11 at the time. I remember thinking that tier 11 was the best rating would ever get for me, and
it was so good.
And chat can mock me a little bit because I didn't raid. Classic.
So judges confirm Horde RP was 1 minute and 40 seconds for Saurfang. Alliance RP 1 minute and 35.
5 seconds. Okay.
So Horde crybabies. My RP's so long.
5 second difference.
Right.
On the RP. All right. We're still waiting for the judges' tally. What's interesting about that last fortune cookie, Bay's chat room hated it, Brutal's chat room loved it. Interesting.
Terrible.
Interesting. I see a little bias here.
Here, that must have been some Horde bias. Here's an Alliance fortune cookie. All right. A night elf's favorite underwear is Fruit of a Loon. Huh? Is that better? There's some Alliance bias there.
Wow.
All right, so we're the next one up. We're still waiting for the tally results from Ice Crown Citadel. I think it was close, but we're going to be stepping into it's the Bastion of Twilight, right?
Correct.
The
entire
Bastion of Twilight.
Yeah, the entire theme for this night. All the 3 nights have themes. This one was entitled Painted Black. All these stuff is theored around Nefarian and the Twilight Council and all that dark black stuffness, the bad guy stuff. So, yep. Next week is entitled Everything in Between, because there is literally no rhyme or reason to the raids next week.
Right.
Yeah, my goodness, reminding myself which bosses are in this zone, this definitely had some of the most memorable bosses out of tier 11 that I already said tier 11 was just a raid tier that I remember very fondly. Although I'm not sure if I remember all of the wipes we had on Ascendant Council as fondly as I may think so right now. So.
Now, we might have some results of Ice Crown Citadel. I'm hearing, what was that? Yes? All right, we are getting results of Ice Crown Citadel. The times are as follows. For the Alliance, 16 minutes, 1 second. For the Horde, 16 minutes, 13 seconds.
Oh, God.
Oh!
The Alliance is victorious.
Wow.
In the Ice Crown Citadel.
Oh,
so
man,
big
that's
shout
crazy.
out, yes, to Bay
Oh,
and the
my
Alliance.
goodness.
Truly a close,
Oh, my
close
goodness.
photo
I wonder where the
finish.
time came from. I think did you have a split group for Valithria, like less healers?
Yeah.
No,
we had 2 healers and then a few ret pallies.
Right, we had all of our healers heal her.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do that.
She was like healed in like 4 seconds. It was really dumb.
There
What,
it is.
We had a DC. How long until you guys are ready?
We're zoning in now. We have 4 or 5 more people that are zoning in currently.
Okay, we're waiting on the mage that screwed us over with Bloodlust. Which, actually, I don't think I talked about that publicly. I was talking about it on my stream. We had a mage pop Bloodlust for whatever godforsaken reason on Saurfang, which screwed us over for our individual wings, because that's where we were going to pop our Bloodlust, was at the end boss in every wing. So that's I don't expect anything in terms of judging to come out of that. I don't expect anything to be tallied or totaled differently. Obviously, no, I don't want there to be any mistake about that. I'm simply QQing because that was ridiculous.
That's right. So that might have been it. That might have been the difference from the Horde win versus the Alliance win, because the Horde could not use Bloodlust on those first fights where the Alliance had that option.
Well, again, you don't have the best honor among your thieves there, so one of them was like, I want more DPS on this boss, and he popped his own time warp. See?
Yeah, see, I mean, I feel like one of your raiders popping time warp at the wrong time, that's like completely within y'all's race strategy.
Exactly.
You got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It sucks.
It is nice, I gotta say, from both chat rooms. I'm seeing a lot of, go Alliance. I'm seeing a lot of recount. I demand a recount.
Yeah,
Recount.
there's a lot
I do
of
live in
controversy
Florida,
over this
for
RP
the
time.
record.
That's true. They both do live in Florida, so they are.
We both
Pretty
do.
used
Oh,
to-
crap.
That's right. That's right.
Damned. We're damned, Ryan.
Pros have the suicide dagger ready to cleanse Satan.
Oh, don't talk to me about suicide daggers. I have a story.
So we are just on the start of the trash here.
Yes, let's make sure. I think both are in the same. Let me make sure Brutall turns his camera around. I think he's facing the. Yeah, they seem to be in the same spot.
We're still waiting on the 25th, so stand by.
Okay, good. Brutall still waiting on the 25th. Wow, look at that. Close race. 1601 to 1613. Alliance wins Ice Crown Citadel.
It's amazing. It's fun.
Wow.
So
Representing Bay, thank you.
We're all inside, Ryan?
Still waiting on the 25th. I think I have a mage.
Okay.
Stand by, please.
All right, now, so this is Bastion of Twilight. So now we've moved on to Cataclysm.
Yep.
This is the beginning of the old old Deathwing expansion. So we completed Wrath of the Lich King with killing the Lich King. And now here we are in Blackwing. No, we're not. We are in the Bastion of Twilight.
Yeah, we're in the Bastion of Twilight right now, so these are some of the good raid instances out of Cataclysm. Definitely starting with the good ones.
This particular raid zone serves as the main base of operation for the Twilight Hammer. The leader of the coat, Cho'Gall himself, is the last boss encounter in this raid, but players that have defeated Cho'Gall on Heroic can unlock Sinestra, which is what they will be doing today.
Okay, I think we're ready.
This is actually great. I've actually never
Ryan?
seen the Sinestra fight.
Sure.
So
Oh, Sinestra was,
Oh
was
wow,
fun.
it's definitely
fun.
a good one to see. Yeah, you should.
I'll be looking forward to seeing this fight and her die in 5 seconds. That'll be great. So
And also
Yeah,
just
she has
to-
a couple of phases. It'll probably take about 15 or 20 seconds.
To go over again for chat room, there are 3 weekends of this weekend, next Saturday, and the 4th of October. We're not doing every single raid, and we're also not raiding anything in Mists of Pandaria because bump that. It's all boring. So we are doing 7 raids today, 6 next week, and 6 on the following Saturday on October 4th. So we're doing almost everything from the previous 4 expansions. Outside of a couple things. We're not doing like Alakir, because that's weird. So yeah. All right. We're in. Ryan, you in?
I'm ready, brother. Let's rock and roll.
Alrighty. Let's pull in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's on. Here we go.
Here they go. Now,
The
this very
Cataclysm
first fight here was a little bit controversial on some of the less hard modes because it would be random each week which of the dragons were up. Is this the fight?
Not
that
in
I'm
25
thinking of?
heroic though.
Not in 25 heroic, but people in chat were talking about how RNG impacted this fight. I guess it's not really
little
something
bit.
that we saw because it was pretty much the first hard mode that we did. So.
Right. Yeah, no, back in the day, these particular dragons you're seeing would be different each week. So some raid teams would wipe all week, and then the following week it'd be a different setup, and then they'd kill them no problem. At least that's what happened with my raid team. There was a certain comp, we couldn't get them down, but then the following week, when the comp changed, we could defeat the bosses.
I think the first time I saw not all of the bosses up, I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Right.
Because I didn't remember. It had been so long.
Look at this, Halphus Wormbreaker. Some fond memories. A lot of people seem to like Bastion. At least I did, particularly with my raid team. We seem to have a good time in here.
It had some of, it didn't have the best fight of the tier, but it had some of the better fights and some of the most frustrating fights of the tier. So it was just a very memorable instance for people. And also I think that this raid tier, because it came right after Dragon Soul, and Dragon Soul just dragged out. I mean, anyone who feels like right now is a lull in Siege, that was Dragon Soul. I mean, if you rated at the same level, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. We just got so bored. And then Tier 11 came out, and it was just fresh and new, and I think it was really enjoyable.
All the loot from this. What the heck? It's like so many pieces of loot. Oh my god.
That's a lot of loot coming off Alphas. Both teams neck and neck. Neck and neck. Brutall pushing his team on, inspiring them to go forward. I don't know if the word inspire, more yelling and screaming. Move!
Yeah.
Now!
Forcing his team to go forward.
Brutall actually selecting Cho'Gall, wondering if he can get a kill right now.
You dork.
I was trying.
He was
He's
trying.
running.
He's running. He's trying to
Hightailing it
get
out
a
of here,
kill.
dude. He is hightailing it out of here.
He's getting out.
Now we move on to Valiona and Theraleon, who had a trinket that I know we had a lot of casters who wanted, and this fight just irked everyone in my raid. We weren't really big fans.
Absolutely. This was a fight, too, that had a different phase. You would kind of go into a different world and deal with those mechanics and then come on back out. But this was a nice kind of, you've got 2 dragons here. Decent fight back in the day. Let's see here. Both teams looking very, very close here. Literally neck and neck. Just a few seconds away from each other. Next room had a lot of trash here for those that did it. This would wipe a lot of groups. You do some kind of ground pound, and that was it.
Yeah, chat's calling me out. I actually named the wrong zone. Dragon Soul stretched out, but the tier I was thinking of was actually ICC. ICC stretched out as well. There was a full year between the release of ICC and the release of the next expansion. So, so that's the feeling that we were coming out of. Although Dragon Soul was exactly the same feeling. So Blizzard needs to release their content slightly faster, but...
And there was another raid zone after Lich King Ruby Sanctum. A lot of people didn't like Ruby Sanctum. I actually kind of dug it.
Count it as a raid zone.
Everyone hated that. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind Ruby Sanctum. I don't. Cool. I'm like, but I know
bonus.
that I'm alone. I'm alone in that. But I like the fight. I like the mechanics of it. I thought it was good.
I liked it. It was fun. It just wasn't a raid zone. It was like a. It was a piece of candy.
I got wrecked by that
That's
ad.
Piece of
candy.
Stuff does damage
so here
now.
we are.
So.
Looks like Alliance engaging
This is
the Ascendant Council.
Oh my goodness, this fight. This is the fight that everyone skipped, because the reason why you didn't have to do this hard mode, because you only had to kill Cho'Gall on hard mode to unlock Sinestra.
Yeah.
So because this fight was so hard, this is probably the fight that the least amount of people saw on Heroic. This fight or Heroic Alakir.
It was also
in the sphere.
awful.
Crazy.
It was also awful in 25
It was
man.
horrible. It was horrible.
This was one of the best fights ever.
No, it was. If you had a lot of melee, it was terrible.
Yeah.
What you know
we
about
did
that
this-
chain
we did
lightning?
This in order.
Now,
Always
what you're noticing here is one of the mechanics of this fight is they're actually combining. They're like becoming Voltron. Like basically, you have to DPS them down, and they have to essentially die at around the same health, because when they combine, it involves, they kind of combine into one giant person.
Right.
But if
All
like
of
I remember,
the health is added together, so you wanted to minimize the amount of health that the end guy had.
right.
Correct.
So that was a lot of things where like, oh, Ignatius is getting low. Get off Ignatius. Get on the other one. Get on the other one. There was a lot of that going back and forth.
I think we wrote 2 different add-ons for that fight, because there was also the thing where you had to pick up the buffs that would counter the raid-wide ability that one of the bosses would be doing. And we wrote, one of our raiders wrote an add-on that would tell you whether or not you had the right buff. That's this fight, that fight. Fond memories, but it a lot of people didn't see it because it was skippable.
That's right. But also another fun fight, another thing at the end. But here we go. So they're engaging Cho'Gall. Looks like Horde ahead. Engaging Cho'Gall right now ahead of the Alliance.
Oh, wow.
Not by much, but definitely I'd say there's about a 10-second lead here. Brutall typing Luist in chat. Pop Luist. Sure what that is. Maybe that's the Italian bloodlust, I'm not sure. All right, here we go.
Italian bloodlust.
Could be that. Oh my gosh. All right, Cho'Gall is down for the Horde, and I have never seen this. Okay, look at this. So Cho'Gall is down. It looks like they are dropping down to the cavern. Brutall is pumped.
It
He
is
is
possible
excited.
to die. It
Look
is
at this
possible to
drop.
die on that drop down if you're very careful. Always amusing.
Yeah.
So much loot. This is insane.
I know, man.
Showers of loot.
Wow, look at this Horde approaching Sinestra. Oh, rising up out of the lava. Here we go. Sinestra on Heroic. It is on like Donkey Kong.
It's one of the fights that has one of the more fun tank jobs that we saw in a couple of tiers. That was the job that I got to do. I got to whelp tank.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, is that it? Oh, we got another phase?
No, there's still
There are several phases. Yeah.
Holy cow,
This
look
is the
at
ad
this.
phase, and then we have her final form.
Yep, and this is another one of those fights. It's just like you were saying earlier, Koltrane, with Putricide, where there's slime all over the room. This fight has a very similar mechanic to that, where when you kill the whelps, the first time they die, they drop like puddles of slime, and then you have to kill them again. And you can't kill them again in the puddles of slime because they will res again, so you have to kill them in a second place. So you have the same, and those puddles constantly grow, making the area of the room that you can stand in smaller and smaller. So you probably won't see much of it here, but that is a very similar mechanic to the one that we saw a little earlier this evening.
Unbelievable. Brutall letting his team know about the eggs. Eggs. Boy, this looks like an intense fight. I cannot imagine this fight during progression. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was fun. I thought it was good.
This,
One of the problems with this fight, though, was that I don't believe that this one was raid tested. It's the same problem that Raden had much later on in WoW's history. So it was really buggy when it first came out.
Oh, wait,
Yes, that's right. That's right.
There's not really
Oh.
a way around that because they don't want to test the bonus bosses because they want them to be a surprise when you've cleared the zone. But
Which I agree with. I do kind of like that. The only thing I don't like is by not testing some bug bosses. No one likes that. Okay, looks like final phase here for Horde. He's shouting kill. Could this be it? Could
It
this be
may
it
be
for
it.
Sinestro?
Down.
Oh my gosh! Looks like the Horde might have pulled this one out in Bastion of Twilight just by seconds. Right now,
someone's trying to kill
Alliance. Oh my gosh, the Alliance taking it home here on the final phase on Sinestra.
Yep.
Holy cow.
We had
This
two,
has been
we
a
had
close
two, we had
race.
2 lag deaths on the lava.
Yeah, these
Silly.
these kill times are really close. It's kind of crazy. I didn't expect it to be this close across the board.
well, I
Holy
think it's mostly
cow.
because it's determined by RP and by the
Yeah.
paths that y'all are taking through the instances. So we'll just be very careful about starting.
This is fantastic. As far as timers go on the Bastion of Twilight, one of the first raids in Cataclysm, Alliance timer, 8 minutes, 44 seconds. Horde timer, 8 minutes, 17 seconds.
Wow.
The Horde
That's-
pulling it out. 44 seconds to 17. Wow, what an intense race. So where does that put our tally here as far as who's in the lead?
You
Horde
should
is in the
see
lead.
it automatically. It tallies automatically.
Let's see here. Now, as far as EP points go, the Alliance also did have 3 deaths. Horde did not have any deaths in that one. But I'll tell you, man, so far, Horde looking strong.
Horde
see, the
is
thing is-
looking strong.
BWD is going to be the deciding factor. It's going to be interesting to see what we do here.
Blackwing
gonna
I
be
Descent.
guess we'll see
interesting.
another instance that I remember very fondly.
Mm-hmm.
Because this
Now-
instance had Omnitron.
Oh, yes.
What a great fight.
The Omnitron defense system.
Now,
That's- I
Horde
mean, we
should
were
be
saying-
going
we
to
were talking
Stonard right
earlier.
now, and Alliance is in
we're-
Ironforge.
We're almost at BWD.
Right.
Now, as far as the totals, real quick, as far as overall times, currently, the Alliance timer, if you add everything up right now, is at 1 hour, 45 seconds.
Wow.
Horde timer, 56 minutes,
Whoa!
36 seconds.
Wow.
So close. Only
Now,
about
hold
a
on. Now,
4
hold
minute
on.
or so, 3.5 minute
Does
difference
that
here.
include the tacked on time for Bay's poor planning round move?
It was already added.
Oh.
Everything was already
just,
added. Yeah.
just making sure. Now, how much did wait? We didn't discuss that. What? How much time did they tack on?
30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Like
I
we
see,
were
I
ahead
see.
of you, and you killed it like 30 seconds after we would have been there anyway. It's not
I
like
see,
he was
I
gonna
see.
last at all. We added on
See,
the
now
average
this-
time.
This fight, this instance coming up here, has one of the hardest bosses that we're likely to see, and I'm just gonna, I just want to wait and see how they deal with it. But we're definitely about to see a couple of my favorite fights here, and
Yeah,
I'm,
BWD is a good instance.
yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to deal with these bosses that we're going to see at the start. I think we may see another instance of raid splitting.
Right. And I'll tell you, man, we can't deny Brutall. We cannot deny Brutall. We did at the top. We thought he would not be planned. We thought he would not be prepared. But clearly, he has come prepared. He is ready to go and rocking it out so far for the Horde. Now, Blackwing Descent is the culmination of the Blackrock series of instances. Comes in a new but familiar form. Blackwing Descent is a raid designed after Blackwing Lair, with its final boss none other than Nefarian himself, resurrected by his father, Deathwing. It's created to serve as a continuation of the story in Blackwing Lair. This raid features a layout similar to its prototype, but with brand new bosses, except for Nefarian, of course. And I believe Onyxia actually makes another appearance in this.
Onyxia.
Yes,
well.
she does. She is part of the Nefarian encounter. The Nefarian encounter involves both dragons at one point, so she is part of that.
Exciting stuff here for both. Now, which boss in particular, Anna, were you referring to that you think is going to cause some trouble for these teams?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. Chat knows what I'm talking about, but we'll see.
All right. Now,
Yeah, no,
speaking of you,
this is-
go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was going to say this raid just has some of my favorite bosses that I've seen in at least my raiding career. I know we talked earlier about how heroic raiders tend to name things like Lich King and Lei Shen as being their favorite encounters, but we all remember fights like Omnitron. Either that fight was completely hated by the people who did it, or remembered very fondly. I know when Spirit Kings came up in MoP, we all considered it to be the spiritual successor to Omnitron Defense System, and that's a fight that we are about to see here, either first or second, depending on the order that they go in, or they may split the raids and hit both of them at the same time.
Right. Both teams right now typing out instructions to their raid teams. Omnitron, great fight. Council style fight, but really, really a great fight overall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Anna, you actually have an item in the game.
Yes, I do.
And what is that? What is your item? You actually have an item in World of Warcraft named after. What item is that?
Well, the way that came about was that most of the items that drop off of... Oh, I'm so bad with names.
Wait, did
when
my
I'm not
team
looking
viewer
at a
just
list.
crash?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, your team viewer just crashed.
We're going to need to start up a new one.
It's fine.
Both. But go on, Anna.
Yeah, that's okay. All of the items that drop off of whoever the boss is on the Isle in this tier, you guys know which one I'm talking about. Ordos. All the items that drop off of Ordos are named after community members, which is why I have an item. In my raid, there are actually 5 people who have items named after them, because I guess my guild tends to have a lot of people who participate pretty heavily in the theory crafting communities. But the items that drop off of Ordos are named after a bunch of people, like myself, like Derevka, a lot of the guests we've had on Final Boss. Olivia Grace has an item, and that was just a really nice little shout out that the devs did to people who've taken a lot of time and effort to put work into write guides and communicate with people and just be part of the community.
That's fantastic. And Brutall, maybe we should have Brutall start up a new one too, just in case this is timed, possibly, or maybe not. You think we'll be okay?
It's a 2-hour thing. Yeah, it's a 2-hour.
Let me do it real quick.
Yeah, let's have Brutall start up.
You have to redo
well.
your quality stuff too, by the way.
Okay, let me see. How do I end this?
Now, Derevka, I know, does not have his item yet in the game. He said that he's been trying to kill Ordos every week, but has yet to see his item drop. Anna, do you? First off, what is your item, and do you have it?
I have a neck Anafielle spiked choker.
Nice.
I do not have it because killing Ordos is effort, and I just have been really lazy and I haven't gotten around to it. But it really just makes me kind of cheerful whenever people... Like, I have people all the time who just tell me that they got my item. Like, people will reach out to me on Twitter, or they'll just, somebody will whisper me on my server and be like, hey, I just saw an item drop and it had your name on it. And that happens pretty frequently on Whisperwind because, like I said, we've got a bunch of people from my raid who all have items on that drop table. And so that's something, like, keep that in mind when you go kill Ordos. Like, it's not just my item. Every single item on his loot table is named after someone who's put tons of time and effort into being part of the WoW community and making it a better place for everyone. So all of them are tribute items. I think all of them are tribute items.
Absolutely.
But it's a really nice feeling.
And I actually will say that on my Ret Paladin, I actually have your neck piece. I actually have it on my Ret Pally, so.
Yeah, excellent. I love hearing that kind of thing. People are always telling me when they get that stuff. Or they're teasing Derevka that they got his item and he doesn't have it yet.
Right. And now, no, Ret Pally is not my main. Chat room's exploding with anger. All right.
Ryan, let me know when you're ready with your team viewer stuff.
Give me team viewers good on my end.
You reset your
All right,
settings for our hosts?
Yep.
Are you all inside?
It is great that WoW does
yes, we
do
are.
that for its community members. That's really nice
Yeah.
tribute. I can't think of any other MMO that does that, so that's really, really great.
Yeah, they've done that a lot. They've also put in vendors that are named after PvPers, and I know they've done a lot of it for some of the PvPers who have put a lot of time and effort in. And it's just, I was really touched when it happened, and I was especially touched that it happened for a wide variety of people at the same time. And it just really showed me that they were really paying attention to the amount of passion that people have towards their game and how much we like to work on it. So
Absolutely.
It was a nice moment.
Absolutely. Chronove in the chat room says he has it on his Ret Pally and his DK.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah,
Good
and
to
somebody
hear,
has
good to hear.
Moshni's item. See, I'm jealous of Moshni because his item, my raid leader Moshni is an elemental shaman, and his item is a pair of pants. So he can just get it and transmog his pants to it, but since he's always wearing a robe, like it doesn't matter what the pants are, so he can just transmog his pants to it forever. That's
All right, Ryan,
a really great way to have it happen.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and Gorgamon
Ready?
points out that all of Ashran's captains are named after PvP streamers. So that kind of thing is in the game pretty frequently.
All right,
Pretty
sir.
awesome.
Let's go in 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. It has started up. Horde
Oh,
versus Alliance.
Where did you start, by the way?
Just right at the door. Just right
Okay,
on
just
both
making sure.
sides. Yeah.
Just making sure.
All right. And we are off. Both teams seem to be starting about the same spot. And we are on Magma. Good old Magma. Oh, baby. Oh, the wonderful lava lizard, mouse, snail thing, whatever that thing's called. So it looks like Horde is going after Magma here. And on Bay's side, is he on Omnitron? Yeah, he is. Great names, by the way. Toxitron, Magmatron. I mean, come on. Anything with the name Tron in it is just a win.
Definitely. This is another fight where, depending on the order that you got, I don't remember whether the order was fixed that they activated in every week or whether it changed. I think it changed every pull. No, I'm pretty sure it changed every pull. Chat's gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong or not on that one. That was just a really exciting fight because the abilities that you had to deal with would depend on which bosses were active at which times, and they would activate in sequence. And so if they activated in a different order, you would deal with a different set of abilities, and what you had to do was different depending on which guys were active at any given time. It was fun.
Right.
It was a great fight. It was something that I think was executed much less smoothly in Spirit
Well,
Kings.
We had an elevator death.
Oh, the elevator.
Oh, no.
Elevator
Hardest
death.
boss in the
There it is.
The elevator. Best moment in my raid was when we had an app who was really just kind of not a great app. Sorry, I'm not gonna name him. And I remember that he used to bubble on the way down on the elevator boss, and then he would die on the next fight. And everyone was like, "Well, if only he had his best survivability cooldown up."
That's right.
That boss.
Elevator boss has claimed many. Mass7691 is asking if I'm one of the voices in Deadly Boss mods. Yes, if you actually choose the voice Koltrane, that's me. That's me doing the countdown for Deadly Boss mods or DBM. One of my biggest geek out moments of all time was being able to be one of the voices on DBM. So huge shout out to Mystical OS for that. Really, really geeked out.
Omega
Yeah,
OP.
that's always fun. Yeah, Omega is OP. He needs more voices.
All right, here we go. So, it looks like the Horde is
This is
engaging
Chimeron, right? Yes.
Right, Chimeron. And once again, both teams seem to be splitting up their raids. Horde's looking strong.
I did like this fight as well because this had a neat tank swap. It was kind of boring otherwise. I mean, and I guess it got boring after you did it for a while. But hey, there was a neat tank swap. This was my first raid tier with my guild that I like very much. So, I like that boss. And it was also one of those bosses where the healers had to work really hard and heal in a way that was different from how they were used to healing.
What a great fight. Another thing, you're engaging all this stuff right in the middle, big giant pool of lava, and that's where you're going to go for the end, where you're going to fight Nefarian and Onyxia.
Is that
we,
fight in here, Skyro? The Slayer? Hold on a second.
We had Group 5 royally screwed up on my end, so Atramedes is a little behind now. Interested to see if that throws us behind a bit, or back a bit. It had a big mistake from Group 5. We had one person die to an elevator and one person die to something, I'm not sure what.
Yeah, but
So
that
we
could
are-
put Horde behind.
Yeah, that puts us
It could.
seriously behind, yep.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Alliance
And
here
now-
engaging Atramedes. Now the Atramedes fight, interesting fight. It's a blind dragon that responds to sound. Basically, each person has a sound meter, and every time you stand in the poo, or every time you stand in something you're not supposed to, or these rings come out and it hits you, it causes your sound meter to go up. As soon as your sound reaches max, he can completely see you essentially, and he will kill you. And the more damage you're going to take. So what you'll notice on the bottom of their screen, especially on Bay's stream, is that little sound meter.
I
This
think
was
that
a
this
great
is one
fight.
of the first fights where Blizzard really played with this idea of a personal meter that was communicated to you in a way that wasn't just a debuff. It was a
Right.
better way of communicating it, where you had this meter that showed you where your sound was, and it wasn't really the best way to communicate that information, and it was done okay in this fight. But we saw them use this mechanic a whole lot in fights that came after this in the expansions afterwards.
But it was really an interesting concept, really. It was kind of a little change on the mechanics of a little bit, but a very interesting fight. A lot of wipes to good old Atramedes, but
Yeah.
Really,
And there was always the
good
question of
fight.
whose sound was highest. I recall either we wrote it into DBM or there was a separate add-on that would track the sound of everyone in the raid. I remember those days. Who is ahead right now? I haven't been able to get the second team viewer to work, so you're going to have
I think
to...
someone trapped us. We're
Horde
trapped
might be in trouble.
Atramedes' room.
Uh-oh.
We are trapped
Uh-oh.
in Atramedes' room.
okay, so
Not
here's what's
good.
happened. So these raid teams on Brutal's side, they've split up. So another group engaged a boss, which closed the door
You gotta
on
kill the other boss.
Atramedes'
Yeah.
room to the other boss. So there's a huge chunk of the
We
Horde
had that
raid
too for a little bit.
trapped in Atramedes. So he
Pretty
can't
much
do
all of us
anything. Oh my gosh, look at this.
The other,
This is-
the other boss is to die.
Oh my goodness.
All of them are dead.
Who's
So,
How-
oh my, this is incredible. This could be huge for the Horde. This
how
could
is
really
the door
hurt
closed
the Horde.
then? If all the other bosses are dead, how's the door closed?
I don't know.
All three of the outside are
Blizzard.
dead.
Hashtag Blizzard.
Yes, all three are dead, yes. And
Does that
Nefarian
mean-
is in the middle.
Has someone engaged Nefarian? Maybe that's what closed the door?
I think someone started the RP before we were supposed to.
Right. Right. So what might have happened is somebody started the RP, engaged Nefarian, which causes all the doors to close. So
Okay, we're
Horde could
hol-
be in real trouble
We're
here.
holding our timer when we got to Nef's RP is done. You guys need to get out and get back in. We're not engaging on Nixia yet, so we paused
Chat room
these-
is saying it's a bug. It's a pretty common bug.
We stopped our timer when we got to Nef taking off, so we're paused at our time. Your time should be paused when your three bosses were dead. So whatever differentiating point that is. So you guys need to get out and get back into your zone to just port to your nearest city and then fly back in. We'll wait for you.
Oh wait, I think something's trying to kill us from afar. Oh yep, we're definitely getting killed from
Oh,
afar.
that might
So
be.
is a boss still
Probably.
alive?
Yeah, boss is still alive. Yeah, we're not gonna kill anything right now.
Well, when you are running back in,
I'll let you know.
So when Brutal gets back in, then are we going to then restart Brutal's timer?
correct.
All right. That's good. And because they are engaging, this might, I don't know, was this a bug? Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, the thing is we want to stop this timer, but not if it's a raider mistake.
Yeah, because I feel like getting all of your raiders to listen to you is part of the challenge.
I mean, we're not
Oh, absolutely.
we're not gaining time here. We're waiting. Our timer is paused, so we're just looking at Onyxia.
A lot of honor being shown by Bay. Maybe that Stormwind thing.
It is sort of my event. I don't want to be a douche. No, you get all the penalties.
UB Gamer says, Bay, good guy, fair fight. This happened to Alliance on Sunwell, but Brutal didn't stop and let them unbug it.
Oh!
Oh, very good point.
Look at this.
Shots fired.
Very good point.
Shots fired. Bringing up an
Yeah.
interesting point. There's a part of me that's almost thinking that maybe Bay engages and we add 30 seconds to Brutal because it's the same
think
type of
so.
thing that happened at the beginning.
It is precisely the same thing.
It's a bug, but Brutal kept going, but Bay is waiting.
What's your status right now, Ron? Are you in
Because
Instant
that's
still? Are you
Alliance
dead? What are you doing?
class right there.
I can't. I'm still stuck in the room. There's no one here to. I guess I'm gonna have to hearth.
I don't know, man. I gotta tell you, I'm thinking that Bay kills Onyxia and then we add 30 seconds to Brutal's timer. Because this is the same thing that happened before, but now opposite. What do you guys think?
I wasn't listening. I was talking to typing in the raid. What are you guys talking about?
I'm talking about letting Bay kill Onyxia and we add 30 seconds to your timer.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that would be fair.
we'll just start my time whenever we get to it.
Bay, what do you think? Because here's the thing, this was not necessarily, we're not even sure if this was a bug, that Brutal, one of his raiders actually engaged, which caused this to happen.
Well, they didn't engage the boss. They started the RP to
When
start
you talk
the
to
boss or whatever.
Nefarian, yes.
Right.
So
they
that's not a
didn't
bug.
Engage. Yeah, they didn't like fight him by any means.
So I would say to Bay, engage.
Yeah, I would say engage.
Engage Onyxia.
I'm giving it that call as
All right,
well.
well,
We'll
finally
timer
getting-
we'll timer
finally
get in
getting
5.
Finally getting summoned. All right, hold on, stand by.
All right, we're doing in 5 to restart.
3,
But you don't want to race
1.
side by side, man.
No, man, because that was not a bug.
I feel like this is an interesting fight, though. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Engaging
I'm not sure if it's that
Onyxia.
interesting with this many people at this high of a level.
Well, I'm wondering what mechanics will happen. I haven't done this in a long time.
Now you see
Goodness, there's still
Onyxia,
gonna be
but
the lava. We're gonna get the lava on the ground, right?
Possibly, I'd imagine.
Onyxia not looking so good. Looks like having a rough day. Kind of been
Yeah.
resurrected. She's kind of zombie robot Onyxia here.
She's been killed by raiders twice before this, so
That's
this
right.
is like time number 3 that we've seen her, at least.
Here we go. We've got Nefarian swimming, coming down as well to help out. Onyxia is down.
Now, she's not down for the count yet. She's down temporarily.
That's right. Oh my gosh, the room is filled with lava. Now for this mechanic,
Oh.
the raiders actually have to swim over and jump onto these pillars.
I got DC'd.
Oh, the worst boss of all.
Oh my gosh. The DC boss has hit Bay.
Oh no.
What is going on?
The DC boss. OP.
Yeah, so we're getting some confirmation here. It does look like one of Brutal's raiders actually started the RP, which is what caused it. It was in fact not a bug. So I think that the time should be added to Brutal here.
Let's see if I can log back in.
But we're gonna log back into Bay's stream and we're gonna find out just 24 other raiders are getting it done.
Oh, I'm getting door controlled. Oh,
Bay is down. Bay is down. Let's see if they can pull this out for the
no.
Alliance.
woo, we lost some people there.
Oh no.
I was door controlled when I was offline, so when I got in,
There
I,
it
could,
is.
I
There
couldn't
Brian
hit.
is down.
I couldn't
But that's
hit
okay,
the
you guys did
stop the
finish it
door.
off.
Yeah.
Although
did lose.
We didn't see your pro jumping onto the pillar skills, which
Lost
are the best
11
part
people.
of this fight.
Yeah. Well, I DC'd in the lava, so yeah.
Nobble saying that Brutal should be disqualified. Wow,
Oh,
not a
no
lot of love
bias
from
there.
Nobble there towards Brutal.
No
That's
bias
all right.
there.
All right, here we go. So judges are tallying up the times. Brutal still has not engaged Onyxia. He is typing out the strat. I think we got a big win here for the Alliance, though. This is a big, big win for the Alliance. Currently trailing by about 4 minutes. This could definitely close that gap in a big, big way.
Definitely. Definitely.
Because that is a huge delay that the Horde had due to one of his raiders starting the RP, which closed the door and they could not get out of Atramides' room.
Okay, the delay shouldn't be the entire time they're waiting.
Right.
But I mean, it's
The
between
30 seconds,
it's
right?
between
Some
30
amount
and
of
45
fair delay.
seconds because you have to. Yeah, we got 30 seconds for Sunwell.
So there was a question about the add-ons from Dwobzig. He says, what add-ons are the raid CDs in the corner and the roll add-on?
The raid CDs on I would imagine that's called Hermes, Hermes.
Oh, you're still using that? I thought that was broken.
Hell no, girl, I got that.
Oh yeah, I used that for a long time. That's a great add-on. Oh yeah, no, I see it now. Yeah, you are using Hermes. I stopped using it about a year ago. These Bone Warriors were just a very hectic tank job on this fight.
I loved it.
I tried to
loved it.
kill them. I
Oh,
thought they
that's
had.
right. You're a warrior. You have to do that.
I went to like DPS them down right while Nefarian was landing. They have 36 million HP. Nah, pass.
Not pass. Oh, those pro pillar jumping skills. Back off.
There it is, Brutal.
Uh-oh.
Those
Killed it too
are
quickly.
pro.
Yeah, this is it. Room
The
fills
hardest
with
part of that
lava.
fight is getting on the damn pillar.
It is.
Yeah. You would always get bugged out, but you had to jump on the pillar, DPS down the ads on top of it. Once all the ads were dead, lava would go away. You continue DPSing the final boss, Nefarian.
Yeah, interrupt cycle on those ads on the pillars too. That tanked this fight, so it wasn't really a problem if I had trouble getting on the pillar,
Oh,
even
kiting
and
is
I
so
didn't
much
have that
fun.
much trouble. But
So much fun.
But yeah, with the DPS with less health, if they
Okay,
took more
Neff's
than a
dead.
couple
Let's
jumps
tally
to
the
get up
stinking
there.
time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was annoying.
There it
Okay.
is. Nefarian is down.
Nefarian is down.
Holy cow. Look at this. What an epic race.
That was frustrating. And you know what's sickening? The idiot, that's right, I'm calling him an idiot because I know this person used to raid with me, signed up for the event, and screwed us over.
Yes.
My goodness.
The person started your RP.
Betrayed by a friend.
That's right.
Seriously.
Betrayed by one of your own.
Unbelievable.
Brutal, showing some of that Horde rage.
Unbelievable.
Once again, these both characters encompassing their faction. It makes sense. Brutal is Horde, Bay is Alliance. This is
Now
good.
again,
This is good.
we'll tally deaths and time for each of the events. Right, like Painted Black was today's event, and we'll tally the overall time. Now, however, that doesn't necessarily matter because the final time after all 3 raids, after Painted Black, everything in between, it was merely a setback. That matters. But again, it's cool to see who does all the instances faster as well too. The Google Doc that OpenRaid has set up right now is pretty amazing. We see each individual instance's time. It's pretty fun.
In fact, let's go over some of these times. So now with the conclusion of the Blackwing Descent, that has concluded our raids for part 1. So let's come up with the tally. What do we got here? For the Alliance, Blackwing Lair, the first one that they got in there, their time was 12 minutes and 16 seconds. And Anna, what was the Horde's timer?
You're going to have to read this one off because I don't have the Google Doc up.
I will read off the time for the Horde as well.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it. I was
No
replying
problem.
to the
Okay, so
chat.
here we go. So for Blackwing Lair, the first one, Alliance 12 minutes 16 seconds. The Horde 10 minutes 16 seconds, a difference of 2 minutes. So Blackwing Lair goes to the Horde. Next up, we stepped into the Black Temple. We just saw that with all the bosses, all the craziness. Alliance timer 13 minutes 27 seconds. The Horde timer 11 minutes 41 seconds. Another
So
victory
weird.
going to the Horde with a difference of 1 minute and 46 seconds.
Had to do it in 3
Still
groups. I did
close
2
race.
groups.
Pick the next one.
All right, so then we headed
Yes.
into Sunwell Plateau. Beautiful instance, gorgeous, right? And also, statistically, what we talked about, a raid zone that few ever saw. This was one of the reasons why the introduction of LFR, so raiders get to see this content. Sunwell Plateau, the Alliance had 9 minutes, 18 seconds. Anna, what was the Horde?
Yeah. Horde 9 minutes and 6 seconds for a difference of 12 seconds. The
fun.
closest margin we have seen so far in these races, or that we had seen at that time. 12 seconds over a 9-minute period of time. So these guys were very, very close. The Alliance pulled it out by the skin of their teeth.
No,
this was-
actually, the Horde won that one, I believe.
Oh, right, sorry, the Horde one.
Yeah,
The
sure.
Horde
No,
pulled
it,
it out. The
the way it
Horde got
looks, it
on
looks
that
weird.
one.
So Sunwell Plateau once again also goes to the Horde, but like she was saying, 12 seconds. That's insane. So then we stepped into Onyxia's lair. Onyxia, right? Redone. This is a 1-boss fight. Alliance timer 59 seconds. Anna, what was the Horde's?
The Horde had a minute and 3 seconds in Onyxia, so that was the one that the Alliance pulled out by the skin of their teeth by 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
And that's with Brutall taking his little Warlock portal just half a breath early there.
Actually,
So I'm thinking
remember
I'm
that
giving
wasn't-
that one a
Remember,
definitely
that wasn't
an
me. That
Alliance
was
victory.
that was somebody else. It wasn't me.
I
Oh,
will
okay.
say one thing that I did see out of the Horde was they were using those Warlock demonic portals to kind of jump ahead into that first trash mob, which would be working really well. Then we headed into Ice Crown Citadel. This is Lich King. We've entered the Lich King and expansion. Alliance timer for Ice Crown Citadel, 16 minutes, 1 second. And what was the Horde?
The Horde was 16 minutes and 13 seconds. So all of us who know how to count can actually say which one won there.
Alliance pulling it out.
Another Alliance victory.
Alliance pulling out with a difference of 12 seconds. That's insane. Out of all these bosses, a 12-second difference. This is cutting it close. Then we headed into the Bastion of Twilight. This is Cataclysm. Here we
Right.
go. This is Cho'Gall and Sinestra. Alliance
Then we
timer,
lost this one, too.
8 minutes, 44 seconds.
I don't know why we lost this
And
one.
the Horde timer 8 minutes and 17 seconds for
Yeah,
a
we lost
difference
that
of
by a lot.
27 seconds, about half a minute there.
It's crazy.
With victory going to the Horde.
It is fun. Yeah, it is fun.
And then the final one, which we just saw, Blackwing Descent. Alliance timer, 7 minutes, 5 seconds. And what was going on with the Horde? I agree.
We had 9 minutes and 9 seconds.
2 minute difference and 4 seconds.
2 minute difference in Blackwing Descent.
Oh.
Sorry, we're just looking at all of the races that have been done so far. Definitely some really close
Right.
ones, and definitely some ones that had a bit more of a gap between our two teams racing here.
So it looks like, judging by the tally, this is for week 1. Now again, this is part 1. There's going to be a part 2 the following Saturday, and then a part 3. But for part 1, it looks to be that the Horde leads by 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
But there is another part to this tally here, and we all have to remember that when we originally started this race, we did say that the teams would be penalized for their deaths. And so the count for deaths that we had, there were, the Alliance had 18 deaths in Blackwing Lair, 12 deaths in Icecrown Citadel, 3 deaths in Bastion of Twilight, and 11 deaths in Blackwing Descent, for a total of 44 deaths. Yes, feel free to make a little bit fun of them for having 44 deaths on content
But
that is tears and tears and tears old.
Now on the Horde side, we had in Blackwing Lair 25 deaths. That would be Brutal's epic wipe at the very beginning.
Wipe.
12 deaths in Icecrown Citadel, to which they both shared, and 8 deaths in Blackwing Descent. So we said that the Alliance deaths were 44. That makes the Horde deaths 45.
We know who deserves more mockery there. Victory to the Alliance.
Yes, absolutely.
Way
Victory
to
to the
have a
Alliance.
cleaner raid by 1 death, Faye. By 1. Tell all of your raiders, thank them all
Yeah,
for
right.
1 more person not dying on the elevator box,
The-
because then
yeah,
that would have
exactly.
been very embarrassing.
The
Right.
difference between the death too is all Razor Gore, which was so weird because it was just the strip that we zerged him when we won, but then he killed us all. So,
Absolutely. So a huge shout out to everyone involved. Big shout out to OpenRaid in particular for helping to set everything up, for having judges, keeping track of all of these timers, all of these, like everything, all the data, keeping track of everything. Big shout out to Bay for the Alliance at FinalBossTV. Huge shout out to Brutal for the Horde. I've been Koltrane. This has been Anna. This has been an incredible event. Look forward to next Saturday. Let's see, where are we stepping in next Saturday? What do we got for next Saturday? Where are
Well,
we
we've
going?
definitely got some exciting raid zones on the plate for next Saturday. We are starting with AQ. I know raid the chat really wanted to see us go into AQ. We will be going into AQ for our classic raid zone. We will also be looking at Gruul's Lair from TBC and Hyjal, an instance that another one of those just love it or hate it instances that people talk about. And where else are we going, Koltrane, next week?
And as far as Wrath goes, we're stepping into Ulduar. Ulduar! One of the
Yes.
great classic raid instances, the one that everybody always refers to. Some of the best memories. Some people say some of the best fights, some of the best design. We will be stepping into Ulduar and then finishing out Wrath with the Ruby Sanctum. The only one that I actually love and everyone else seems to hate. But I
Right.
love Ruby Sanctum. So that'll be good. And then for Cataclysm, we got to round out Cataclysm with, of course, Dragon Soul. We got to do it. We got to do it.
We gotta
Dragon
do
Soul.
it. We gotta do it.
yeah,
Indeed.
there are 6 raids on the next 2 because most of the raids are much longer than the ones we put in this first one. So that's why this one has 7. Because two of the raids are basically like just one-offs, whereas next week we do have incredibly long strips.
Absolutely. So that'll be on September 27th. Please join us for the epic WoW Battles of History, the Retro Raid Race Part 2, titled Everything in Between. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I've been Koltrane.
And I've been Anna. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I just love it when chat seems to have really a lot of fun at these events, and I just love talking to you guys, and I appreciate everyone who's come to watch us this week. And I hope you guys had fun. Come back next week and cheer for your favorite team.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys then.
I'm gonna run the intro again for those that missed it at the beginning.
History. The Horde versus the Alliance. Go.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Oh my gosh, my face camera's messed up. What is happening here? Oh my gosh, friends, help me. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much. This will be on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, this will be on YouTube tomorrow. And we will see you all on the 27th for round 2, October the 4th for round 3. See you all there. Sign-ups go live tomorrow, I think, on OpenRaid. Yes, tomorrow or Monday. Check it. Check the thingy and the stuff. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.